What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 2SP Chapter 26 It Was Just a Misunderstanding Ads by Bid Gear. Exploring the truth behind celebrities' radiant smiles. Reclama. No, the assessment instructor's eyes widened in astonishment. When he looked at the test crystal, his eyeballs almost flew out. That's because many cracks visible to the naked eye appeared on the surface of the test crystal, which seemed to explode in the next second. This appalling scene, it directly scared the assessment instructor into a fool. Also surprised was Ling Yun. Looking at the more and more cracks on the surface of the test crystal, he frowned suspiciously. It's not right, I obviously restrained myself and didn't inject too much Ryotsu, but what's going on with this test crystal? Ling Yun couldn't figure out the situation at all. In his understanding, the level of spiritual power is linked to the size of Ryotsu, so Ling Yun deliberately restrained. Unexpectedly, there was still an accident. You. What the hell did you just do? The assessment instructor's voice was trembling, almost screaming, and he looked at Ling Yun with a look of panic. The test crystal actually exploded. Not only the hundreds of people in the front, but even the previous admissions assessment, such a strange situation has never happened. Hey, don't look at me like that, I really didn't do anything. Ling Yun spread his hands helplessly, expressing that he did not take the blame for it. He even wanted to ask the assessment instructor the other way around, isn't your test crystal a fake? But the examiner is about to say something. The test crystal completely exploded. Boom. Accompanied by an ear-piercing loud noise, countless pieces of glass flew in all directions, and the small black room suddenly became a mess. What's more, testing the explosion of the crystal is like opening Pandora's box. The spiritual power that had been injected into it was released in an instant. Bang, bang, bang. The area where the small black house was located shook violently like an earthquake, and the roof was violently lifted, which immediately alarmed the people waiting outside. What happened? Looks like there was an explosion. No way? This is the enrollment of Maoyang Ling Yun Academy. That's right, I remember that there has never been an accident over the years. The crowd waiting outside chattered. Everyone looked at the roof in unison, and everyone's face was filled with wonderful expressions. Because I don't know the little black house, what exactly happened? Therefore, everyone can only wait with anxiety. The screen returns to the small black room. Oops, the test crystal has exploded, and now the assessment and enrollment will be interrupted. Looking at the crystal fragments scattered all over the ground, the assessment instructor's eyes went dark, and he almost fainted. Although there were other college personnel present, but now that such an accident happened, he would definitely bear the first big pot. Who can stand this, that? Are you okay? Ling Yun asked sympathetically. He originally planned to pass the test easily, but now it seems that I am afraid it will not work. What do you think? Now that the test crystal has exploded, the assessment has to be suspended, and we have to clean up the mess later. The assessment instructor wanted to cry but had no tears. Forehead, I really didn't mean to, but then again, what about my test results? Compared with the messy scene, Ling Yun is more concerned about her own performance. Well, we won't be able to make a specific judgment until the senior management of the college arrives. The assessment instructor sighed dejectedly. He had already contacted the college just now. The next thing to do is to wait patiently, and everything that follows will be taken over by the senior management of the academy. Okay, that's the only way to go, Ling Yun pouted helplessly. Apart from sighing with emotion, it's a disaster without reason, he really has nothing to do. Soon after, the senior officials of the Zhenyang Ling Yun Academy finally rushed to the scene. Director date. In the chaotic Shihouin, the assessment instructor pointed forward, and the white-haired old man nodded respectfully. Heisha, what happened? Why did the test crystal suddenly explode? The teaching director named Ida first observed it, and then asked seriously. Director date. This kid named Ling Yun, as soon as he injected spiritual power just now, the test crystal suddenly exploded. The assessment instructor briefly explained. Huh? Is there such a thing? Director Ida had a look of disbelief. With his hundreds of years of veteran experience, this kind of thing sounds outrageous. To what extent does the spiritual power have to be so strong that the test crystal can burst? Director Date also wants to know the answer. Little devil, what's your name? The old man looked at Ling Yun and asked with a serious face. Ling Yun, Shihouin Ling Yun. Oh, is that Ling Yun? It's a pretty good name. Director Yida nodded first, and then praised him falsely, just as he was about to ask questions. And many more. Shihouin, what did you just say? Director Yida realized it later, and only reacted at this moment. Shihouin Ling Yun, I am Yoruichi's real brother. Ling Yun's simple sentence has absolute lethality. When he said these words, whether it was the assessment supervisor or Director Yida, their complexions changed over and over again. It turns out, so it's Lord Yoruichi's own brother. That's okay, it's just a misunderstanding. Director Ida's first reaction was the authenticity of Ling Yun's identity. But he thought about it, and quickly dismissed the idea. Shihouin, the oldest of the four major families, has long been known throughout the Soul Society. No one would be so stupid as to pretend to be Shihouin on purpose, because this would be a felony by the 46 room. Is it so real? The face-changing speed is too fast. Ling Yun almost couldn't help laughing out loud. He had to sigh with emotion that Director Yida really deserves to be an old fritter, and his ability to adapt to changes is amazing. Ling Yun, right? Since you are Lord Yoruichi's younger brother, you can tell us in advance, and there is no need to spend a lot of time on the assessment. Director Date's attitude is completely different from before. Ling Yun even suspected that the old man standing in front of him was not the director of the academy at all. What about fairness and justice? Did you agree not to go through the back door? What about equal treatment? The speed of your face slapping is too fast. Sister Yoruichi is busy with the team, so I had to sign up alone. While speaking, Ling Yun took out an identification tag from her body. I really didn't lie, after seeing the special imprint on the listing. Director Yida's eyes burst out with brilliance. This special mark can only be possessed by the Shihouin people, and now Ling Yun's identity is completely hammered. Then how do I calculate my assessment results? Ling Yun asked, pointing to the debris all over the floor. Brother Ling Yun, you passed this spiritual power test with a perfect score. Director Ida replied without thinking. The end result is 10th class spiritual power. Chapter 27 Mao's first genius, Lil Brother Ling Yun. Your test result is 10th class spiritual power. Director Ida replied without thinking. What? After hearing this answer, not only Ling Yun, but even the examiner was shocked. 10th level spiritual power? Isn't this the legendary perfect score? Looking at the entire Soul Society, with a long history of more than 2,000 years, it seems that there has never been a person who has achieved a perfect score since the establishment of the Zhenyang Lingyuan Academy. What this result means, Ling Yun is very clear. Director Yida, are you right? That's 10th class spiritual power. Mentor Blackstone once suspected that he had heard wrong. 10th class spiritual power. It can almost be called a genius among geniuses. There's no mistake, it's 10th class spiritual power. I know the result, so you don't have to question it. Director Yida waved his hand. Even though he is an old fritter, he has always been very good at fawning and fawning. But, regarding the assessment results, Director Yida dared not cheat. Of course. The reason for making such a judgment lies more in the explosion of the test crystal. Director Yida, as a high-level executive of the college, also served as an assessment instructor back then, and has some understanding of the internal structure of the test crystal. The test crystal is made of a special material, which has a similar effect to the murderous stone, and has a certain isolation effect on Ryotsu. So here comes the problem. Ling Yun smashes the test crystal with spiritual power, which is equivalent to Shinigami smashing the murderous stone with Ryotsu. It's an outrageous mess. That's why Director Yida made the judgment of 10th class spiritual power, after some weighing. But 10th class spiritual power, this kind of achievement that breaks history, should be reported to Gode 13, right? Instructor Blackstone said with a complicated expression. Shocked the whole Gode 13 before entering school. This glorious deed is enough to boast for a lifetime. I'll take care of this matter, so you don't have to worry too much. Director Ida looked at Ling Yun again. Brother Ling Yun, take this letter and report to the college in 3 days. Okay, I have to thank you this time. Ling Yun happily accepted the letter. He took a closer look and found that the material and color of this letter were obviously different from other letters. Almost without guessing, he immediately realized that this was the admission notice for the special training class. Brother Ling Yun, 3 days later, I hope you can hint at the report. Finally, under the watchful eye of the two mentors, Ling Yun left the small black room with the letter. The little black room became peaceful again. Call. I really didn't expect that this time I was so lucky that I met a once-in-a-century genius, Director Yida said excitedly. Director Date, what about the assessment test? Let's suspend it temporarily, and continue when the new test crystal arrives tomorrow. I understand. The accident finally came to an end. Evening. Shihouin Mansion. After receiving the admission notice of the special training class, Ling Yun immediately notified Yoruichi and Urahara Kazuki. Ever since, a celebration banquet was held logically. Ling Yun, I really didn't expect you to become famous in this way. Urahara Kazuki sat on the side of the round table, holding a jug of fine wine in his hand. This is the celebration wine he brought specially. It has been preserved in the cellar for decades, and he has never been willing to open it before. Today I went all out for Ling Yun. Kazuki, I said at the beginning that Ling Yun will definitely not let us down. Yoruichi sat cross-legged in front of the wooden case, drinking one glass after another, sincerely happy for Ling Yun. And of course Yushiro. Ling Yun, with your birth, my sister doesn't have to worry about her succession. While feeling happy for Ling Yun, Shishiro also breathed a sigh of relief. His appearance is very similar to Yoruichi, but his personality is not as optimistic and strong as Yoruichi. Before Ling Yun was born, Shishiro was expected to be the next head of Shihouin. But, with Yushiro's personality, he couldn't bear the heavy responsibility. In order to train Yushiro, and because of the busy team, Yoruichi entrusted him with housework, so Yushiro has been under a lot of pressure. Things are completely different now. With Ling Yun's strong rise and his unique personality, he is obviously more suitable to be the next successor. It was precisely because of seeing this that Yushiro relaxed. Shishiro, Ling Yun is still young. Before he fully grows up, the family affairs should be handled by you. Yoruichi ordered strictly. I understand. Don't worry, I will take care of everything. Yushiro nodded shyly. Taking advantage of the opportunity, Yoruichi raised his glass and said cheerfully, "Come on, to celebrate Ling Yun's winning the first place, I will not return home drunk tonight." Cheers, cheers, cheers. Amidst the laughter, wineglasses collided with each other. The atmosphere is warm and harmonious. The next day, when the sun rose, the entire Soul Society boiled instantly as the news of the assessment spread. Shihouin Ling Yun, Flash Goddess Yoruichi's younger brother, Shihouin's young master. A super genius with 10th class spiritual power, broke the 1,000-year record of Junyang Lingyuan Academy. Jinglingting is also good, and Rukongai is also good. Rumors about Ling Yun spread throughout the Soul Society like a hurricane. Ling Yun, who was originally unknown, instantly became a hot topic because of this explosive news. Mao's first genius. This is the evaluation given to him by the outside world. Possesses Shihouin's aristocratic blood, and also mastered the talent of 10th level spiritual power. No matter how you look at it, Ling Yun is impeccable, and her future achievements are immeasurable. Of course. Except for the nobles of Jingling Court, and the residents of Rukongai. The Shinigami of Godai 13 are also interested in this topic. Among them, the team building of the 5th team, Captain Hiriko. Captain Hiriko. Captain Hiriko. In the long aisle of the team building, the members of the 5th team, whenever they saw the figure walking towards them, they all cast respectful and admiring eyes. Oh, you don't have to be so polite, just do what you have to do. A rambling voice followed closely behind. The black Seba costume, the white Captain Howery, and the iconic pothead, always look like a fool. That's right. The figure walking towards him is the current captain of the 5th Division and the future leader of the Masked Legion. Hiriko Shinji. Have you heard? There seems to be a breaking news from the Junyang Lingyuan Academy. Hiriko Shinji stretched a little laxly. In him, there is no trace of the demeanor that the captain of the guarding team should have. On the contrary, he looks like a little bastard. Chapter 28 The Good Guy Aizen. In the aisle of the 5th Division. Have you heard? There seems to be a breaking news from the Junyang Lingyuan Academy. Hiriko Shinji stretched a little laxly. There was not even a trace of the demeanor that the captain of the Godai squad should have on him. On the contrary, he looks more like a punk. Captain, are you referring to the matter of entering the assessment test? An officer took over the conversation. That's right, it is said that the kid named Ling Yun is said to have 10th class spiritual power, and is Captain Yoruichi's younger brother. Hiriko Shinji told Ling Yun's deeds yesterday like a treasure. It would be very strange if there were outsiders present. The dignified captain of the 5th Division, how could he be so 8 trigrams? There are even some unscrupulous ones. This captain is probably a related household. 10-level spiritual power. These words seem to have some kind of magical power. All the soldiers who heard it stopped in their tracks, showing expressions of disbelief. You also find it incredible? Capturing the expressions of every team member, Hiriko Shinji drew an arc at the corner of his mouth. I've never heard of this kid named Ling Yun before, and I doubt the authenticity of this matter. Captain Hiriko, this incident is making a lot of noise, so it shouldn't be fake news, right? Who knows, but then again. Hiriko Shinji suddenly remembered something, and immediately raised his spirits. It seems that Hiyori said before that she seems to go to Mao Academy to deal with some things. Now think about it. Could it be the so-called special training class? Hiriko Shinji immediately thought of a possibility. Captain Hiriko, if you're really that curious, I think it's better for you to find out. The original officer suggested again. Let's talk about it. The last injury has just healed, and I don't want to be knocked down and broken again. A pockmarked face appeared in his mind, and Hiriko Shinji trembled with fear. Although he is in a high position, he is the captain of the 5th Division and enjoys a very high status in the entire Soul Society. But Hiriko Shinji has a lifelong enemy. That is the vice captain of the 12th squad, Sappei Hiyori, with the title of Pockmarked Face. Every time the two meet, they will greet each other in a unique way, flip-flops. Of course, Hiriko Shinji was the one who got beaten. The dignified captain of the 5th Division, every time after the captain's regular meeting, he would return to the team building with a bruised nose and a swollen face. The members of the 5th team have long been familiar with this situation. By the way, what about Aizen? Why didn't you see him? Hiriko Shinji changed his words and his expression became serious. At this moment, there was no frivolity in him anymore, only meticulous strictness. Aizen vice captain, he went to the team office early in the morning to wait. Really? He is really punctual. He goes to deal with team affairs so early every day. It sounded like praise on the surface, but when he said this, a strange look flashed in Hiriko Shinji's eyes. Yeah, Vice Captain Aizen is really worried about team affairs, he is such a nice guy. The soldiers around all nodded their heads in approval. Aizen's usual performance has always been well received and left a deep impression on the team members. Good old man. Hehehehe.
Hiroko Shinji sneered silently. He waved his hand at the team members, then turned around briskly and walked towards the team office. Soon after, 5th Division Team Affairs Room. Captain Hiroko, you are finally here. Hiroko Shinji had just stepped out of the aisle when Aizen's voice was heard head-on.
The black Seba outfit was covered with white Captain Shihouin, with thick bangs hanging down in front of his forehead. The black-rimmed glasses on the bridge of the nose add a touch of scholarly atmosphere. In the entire Go-Day 13, it is recognized that the man with the best relationship in the title of Good Old Man is the man. The current vice-captain of the 5th Division, Aizen Sosuke. Aizen, have you been waiting long? Seeing Aizen with a smile on his face, Hiroko Shinji asked nonchalantly. Captain Hiroko, it hasn't been long. I usually come to the team office here. Even though he felt the captain's impatience, the smile on Aizen's face did not diminish at all. Whenever, wherever, even in an accident, Aizen's temper remains unchanged. Gentle and humble, understanding, helpful and loyal. These are accumulated over the years, and the outside world has attached labels to Aizen, as if he is full of positive energy. But only Hiroko Shinji knows. The so-called good old man in front of him is actually an extremely dangerous guy. That year, after Hiroko Shinji was promoted to the captain of the 5th team, the first thing he did was to promote Aizen and keep him as the vice-captain. There is only one purpose in doing this, to monitor Aizen. He keeps a distance from Aizen, secretly defends all the time, and does not give him any chance to get close. That's why this scene is happening now. One is the captain and the other is the vice-captain. But the two are strangers. Aizen, have you heard? The incident that made a lot of noise yesterday. Hiroko Shinji didn't want to talk, and changed the subject with a look of disgust. He casually pushed open the door, walked into the team affairs room with casual steps, and sat down directly in front of the wooden desk. Shihouin Ling Yun, the only genius who has obtained the 10th class spiritual power in the assessment. Aizen accurately told the story of Ling Yun. Hey, you've heard that too? The news is quite well informed. Hiroko Shinji brewed a pot of hot tea, and without caring about his own image, he straightened up his legs. 10th class spiritual power, this kind of unique deed, I will more or less inquire about it. Aizen kept standing all the time, looking a little stiff. If there are outsiders present, you can't help but sigh with emotion. In front of his captain, Aizen is too humble. The image of the good old man is vividly expressed. Really? I thought you only cared about team affairs. Hiroko Shinji sneered in front of Aizen in a teasing tone. Captain Hiroko is overrated. To share the team's affairs for the captain is what I should do. No matter how disgusted Hiroko Shinji is, Aizen always has a smile on his face. From the beginning to the end, he always kept the words, 5th Division, and team affairs on his lips. Let Hiroko Shinji find no flaws. Okay, let's stop chatting here. You can deal with yesterday's team affairs. I want to drink 2 cups of hot tea and rest for a while. Hiroko Shinji waved his hand.
Captain Hiroko, leave it to me. Aizen nodded respectfully, then intuitively turned and left. Until the moment when we came to the door of the team affairs room, with our backs to Hiroko Shinji. The smile on his face stopped abruptly. Chapter 29. Don't ask. Asking is just a slipper. Time flies. In a blink of an eye, it was the time for the prescribed report. In order to avoid being late, Ling Yun left early in the morning and rushed to the Junyang Academy.
A lot of people. After finally arriving at the gate of the college, Ling Yun suddenly felt a little exaggerated after seeing the crowds of people. Looking around, almost all unfamiliar faces. Those who waited here did not wear white student uniforms, but wore all kinds of clothing, obviously coming from Jinglingding, or various blocks of Rukongai. It seems that in order to attract more talents, Junyang Ling Yun Academy has really expanded its enrollment scale, but it seems that there are no powerful roles. Ling Yun felt a little carefully. Except for a very few, he didn't sense anyone who could be his concern. The vast majority of people present only possessed weak spiritual power, not even 1/5 of that of ordinary soldiers. But Ling Yun soon felt relieved. In his memory, it was more than 100 years before the start of the plot, and only a handful of geniuses were born during this long period of time. Shiba Kaiyan is one, and Ichimaru Jin is next. According to Ling Yun's inference, there are still a few years before Ichimaru Jin joins Go-Day 13. Therefore there's no competition. Of course he became the first name in the special training class. Next, it is a long waiting time. During this gap, many sharp-eyed people recognized Ling Yun's identity. Hey, look at this little brother, I saw him the other day, the drunken immortal. He seems to be Ling Yun. No way? Mao's first genius, is he so handsome? More and more people are talking about it. Ling Yun became the center of attention without even doing anything. One gaze after another came from all directions, all focusing on him. Not only the special identity of young Master Shihouin, and that handsome face, but also the handsome aura of Mao's first genius. The appearance of Ling Yun, it caused a sensation in an instant. What? Can anyone recognize this? Suddenly surrounded by countless people, no matter how confident Ling Yun is, he still feels a little uncomfortable. He originally wanted to keep a low profile, but now it seems that he has no chance. Fortunately at this time,
The closed door suddenly opened.
The instructors of the Ling Yun Academy walked out of the gate in an orderly manner, and their appearance immediately caused a sensation. "Everyone be quiet." One of the old men with white hair, with a voice wrapped in ryotsu, waved for the audience to keep quiet. "What I hold in my hand is the list of each class. Later, you will gather in the designated teachers according to the division above." The old man spoke quickly. "The list will be released next." Each freshman, assigned according to the list, went to their respective classes. Ling Yun is no exception. The screen change. First grade, special training class. The whole class is not big, with a total of 50 people. But because of Ling Yun's arrival, the atmosphere in the classroom became active, and many people took the initiative to show affection to him. Facing the gazes from all around, Ling Yun nodded one by one. "We just met, and he became the most popular one in the whole class." Soon after, there was a sound of footsteps outside the classroom. "The mentor is here." I don't know who started it first. Including Ling Yun, everyone looked at the teacher's door in unison. After a few seconds, a figure appeared. No way? It turned out to be her. After recognizing the identity of this figure, Ling Yun blurted out an exclamation. He also did not expect that another familiar plot character would appear.
The owner of this voice has golden braids, dark brown pupils, a pair of cute canine teeth, and tits on his face. Madara is wearing a black domineering outfit, and looks exactly like a little girl. That's right, she has been serving as the vice captain of the 12th squad, and one of the future members of the Masked Legion. Hiyori Sarupe. It seems that the news is true. Even Hiyori has come to serve as a mentor, but she is too busy. Ling Yun muttered inwardly for a while. In his impression, Hiyori was a violent maniac. Her attitude is very arrogant, she often sees others as unpleasant, and throws away her slippers if she disagrees with her. Hot-tempered, impulsive personality. Hiyori is definitely one of the most unprovoked girls. But now, she has become her mentor, and to be honest, Ling Yun finds it hard to accept. If it's Shiro, or Lisa-chan, it's better than Hiyori, right? In case one day is in a bad mood, there are slippers to serve. A bruised nose and a swollen face are a trivial matter, but in serious cases, it is a whole body fracture. Hiroko Shinji is the best example. Little devils. My name is Hiyori Sarupe, and I am the vice captain of the 12th division. From now on, I will be your tutor. Stepping on a pair of flip-flops, Hiyori walked up to the podium in an old-fashioned way. Since the 12th squad has team affairs to deal with from time to time, I won't be free for a long time, so I adopt a stalking teaching method. Hiyori folded his hands and looked around the classroom. As soon as she appeared on the stage, she came down and showed a strong attitude, which immediately made all the students tremble. The whole classroom immediately became audible. What's the matter? Keep silent one by one, I won't eat you all. Looking at the terrified faces below, Hiyori's mouth turned up triumphantly.
The reason why she came to be a tutor was entirely on a whim.
Originally holding the mentality of playing tickets, I didn't expect to be invited by the academy, and I was also the instructor of the special training class. Perhaps the senior management of Junyang Lingyuan College just took a fancy to her fiery temper. That, teacher, what are the specific courses? A student plucked up the courage to ask. Now it is. Along with the voice, Hiyori's flip-flops flew out. Bang, accompanied by a loud noise. Flip-flops hit the forehead accurately. The freshman who asked the question fell to the ground in response.
The whole classroom rioted because of this, no? Isn't it just a question? Mr. Hiyori is too tough. Who can stand it if it goes on like this? The students exploded. Facing Hiyori's trump card, desperate flip-flops, everyone trembled, afraid that they would be the next target. This Hiyori is exactly as I remember it. If there is a disagreement, you will do it. Ling Yun, who was sitting in the corner, looked at the podium speechlessly. Hiyori didn't play cards according to the routine, even he couldn't stand it. Little ghosts, listen to me. Don't ask unnecessary nonsense in the future. The specific courses can be arranged by me. Hiyori deliberately lowered his voice. Her subtext is evident. Do not ask. Asking is a flip-flop. Chapter 30. The system is doing something again, soon after. To the east of Junyang Lingyuan Academy, training site number 12. Under the leadership of Hiyori, all the students of the special training class came here in an orderly manner. Little devils. The first class, which is also the most basic introductory class, is the control and application of Ryotsu. Hiyori's unique voice spread to every corner of the venue. Ryotsu's control? The students all showed surprised expressions. It is true that everyone present is one of 100 geniuses, at least in terms of spiritual power, they belong to the top group in the same session. However, it is one thing to have strong spiritual power, but it is quite another to be able to use it skillfully. Ryotsu is the foundation of all strength, the higher the density, the stronger the strength, so I think we should focus on this aspect of training. Hiyori was like a strict mentor, his gaze swept across the faces, and his words contained an undeniable majesty. As for the students in front of her, like docile and well-behaved cats, they listened carefully one by one. Do not ask. Ask as a slipper. These two sentences lingered in my mind like a mantra, leaving an indelible impression. No one dares to touch the moldy head at will, of course. Naturally, Ling Yun is not included. A little girl like Hiyori may be able to frighten the stunned youths, but it has no effect on Ling Yun at all. Play for fun, make trouble for trouble, don't make fun of slippers. Ling Yun, right? I think you are always absent-minded, don't think that you are superior to others with the backing of Captain Yoruichi. Just as Ling Yun was thinking secretly, Hiyori took the initiative to stare at him. Ling Yun was speechless. Please, I was in a daze for a while, how could I be superior to others? What a Buddha! Why, did I say something wrong? You seem very unconvinced. Hiyori crossed his hands and came to the front with an arrogant face. Don't think that you can ignore discipline in class by staring at the halo of genius. You, Ling Yun was about to refute, but in the middle of speaking, he suddenly stopped. That is because, the system notification sounded again. Ding! A warm reminder, a triggering task will appear, do you want to choose it immediately? Suddenly, as always, the system did not follow the routine at all, and suddenly triggered a random task. Isn't it? I just planned to get back at her, and this can also trigger the mission? Ling Yun's first reaction was that he heard it wrong. But the fact is that, just as he was hesitating, the system prompt sounded again. A warm reminder, a triggering task will appear, do you want to choose it immediately? Hearing the beep again, Ling Yun finally believed it this time. Based on the experience of the previous 2 times, he quickly clicked on the mission information bar, and quickly saw the mission content. Random task. Explode yourself. Tigress. Close black lens bracket, task content. Within the specified time limit, in front of all the students, hit a violent chestnut on Hiyori's forehead, and the specified time limit is 1 hour. Task reward. White hit skill, double bone fist, close black lens bracket. Originally, he was just curious, but after seeing the content of the task reward, Ling Yun's eyes lit up instantly. White hits technique, double bone fist? F*K, isn't this the captain's white hits trick? This time the reward is too high. If it weren't for the presence of outsiders, Ling Yun couldn't help but scream for a while. 1 bone, 2 bones. Old man Yamamoto's most used white hits technique. During the battle in Karakura town, the captain used these 2 tricks to smash Wanda Wise to pieces. It can be seen how strong other powers are. No matter what, you must get the reward, even if you have to go crazy on the verge of death. Ling Yun silently made up his mind, and immediately closed the task information bar. Then he looked at Hiyori's forehead. The next thing to do is to give her a chestnut. Mr. Hiyori, I think I've mastered Ryatsu's control very well, so I hope I can go back and sleep late. Ling Yun changed his words suddenly and spoke with confidence. What? Go back to take a nap? Student Ling Yun, are you crazy? Dare to say such shameless words? Hiyori was so angry that he was even ready to take off his flip-flops. But hearing Ling Yun's words, she suddenly became a little speechless, as if she was suddenly fed a handful of poison. How dare you make such an exorbitant request in front of my old lady? You little brat is interesting, with Ling Yun and Hiyori confronting each other. The atmosphere at the scene suddenly became tense. The other 48 students, all dumbfounded, stood there in a daze. They have never experienced such a scene. It's over, Hiyori's violent temper is really easy to get on if you provoke him. The corner of Ling Yun's mouth raised an imperceptible arc. Ling Yun has already figured out the character of the other party. With Hiyori's violent temper, it's useless to reason, she will become more and more arrogant instead. The best way to deal with little sisters, just play against her. Mr. Hiyori, it's almost noon now, isn't it normal to take a nap? Ling Yun even yawned to make the play more realistic. This move, like a fuse, instantly detonated the powder keg. Hiyori blew up immediately. Very good, Ling Yun, right? You have successfully caught my attention. Hiyori clenched his fists angrily. If it wasn't for Yoruichi, who was still behind the back for worrying about Ling Yun's identity, she would have thrown her flip-flops on her face long ago. I originally planned to explain the theory in advance, but now it seems that this is completely unnecessary. After all, he is the adjutant of the 12th Division, and Hiyori is naturally not a fool. She quickly calmed down, but became unusually calm. Seeing this look makes everyone panic. Ling Yun, you and I will have a duel later, and experience Ryatsu's control skills firsthand. Hiyori kicked fiercely. Pair practice. Student Ling Yun is out of luck. Oh, offending teacher Hiyori, there must be no good fruit to eat. Let's hope he doesn't break a bone. ... Countless sympathetic gazes instantly focused on Ling Yun. Every student shook his head and sighed silently, as if he had foreseen Ling Yun's next tragedy. However, Ling Yun's next response shocked everyone's jaws. Mr. Hiyori, are you practicing duels? I think this proposal is good. Ling Yun not only responded with a relaxed face, but even whistled leisurely. He instantly filled up the hatred value. You seem very confident? You agreed without hesitation? The more confident Ling Yun became, the angrier Hiyori became. The veins on the surface of her fist were throbbing violently, apparently reaching the point where she couldn't bear it anymore. Obviously, the little girl is about to go berserk. Chapter 31 Hiyori Who Doubts Life. Everyone retreat 20 meters. Next, You should take a closer look at how to skillfully use Ryotsu in the aspect of slashing fists and walking ghosts. Seipe Hiyori signaled sternly. With provocative eyes, she stared at Ling Yun intently, looking eager to fight. Obviously treated Ling Yun as a sandbag. Hearing Hiyori's request, the students in the special training class all retreated consciously, leaving a large space immediately. Ling Yun and Hiyori stood facing each other, became the most eye-catching focus of the audience. Ling Yun seems to be coming for real. He should be at the top, right? Maybe it will kill someone? It's possible. With teacher Hiyori's temper, he will definitely beat him up. Let's eat melons in silence, and we will be implicated later. The students whispered in private. The eyes of everyone looking at Ling Yun were completely different from those looking at Hiyori. Compassion on the one hand and awe on the other. Everyone agreed that this competition would end soon, and Ling Yun would definitely be beaten up. Center of the field. Hiyori took a step forward calmly, and she looked at Ling Yun with great interest. Little ghost, you grew up in Shihouin's mansion, you must be used to a pampered life, right? What do you want to say? Ling Yun nodded noncommittally. Having a strong background identity is his greatest capital, and there is nothing difficult to admit. For a flower like you that grows in a greenhouse, some arrogance is inevitable. But this is not the Shihouin mansion, but the Zhenyan Ling Yun Academy. The college has the rules of the college, and the classroom has the discipline of the classroom. Since you are a student, you must abide by it. Seipe Hiyori was aggressive, as if he was sure of the other party. But the next reaction of Ling Yun made his face turn green. Shunpo, Ling Yun doesn't have too much nonsense. His figure disappeared in place, strangely disappearing from sight. Yo, you really are a thorn, and you dare to provoke yourself. Hiyori gritted his teeth, with a displeased expression on his face. Her behavior a while ago was purely to give Ling Yun a bad blow. But things are now. Hiyori must establish his prestige. Ling Yun brat. In front of me, just let the horse come here, it's useless to pretend to be a ghost. Although he was surprised by Ling Yun's speed, Hiyori's mentality remained unchanged. Her knowledge of Ling Yun only stops at Shihouin. Shihouin's young master, Yoruichi's younger brother, Mao's first genius. These familiar labels on Ling Yun are worthless in the eyes of Hiyori. Her temper is like this, even in the face of Hiriko Shinji, still did not show any due respect, let alone Ling Yun who has not grown up. But the next moment, Hiyori's expression froze for a moment. Thundering chariot, gap in the spinning wheel, this thing has clusters of light and divides into 6.
61 of Bakuto, the 6-stick light prison. Accompanied by Ling Yun's voice, there are 6 paths blazing and shining light sheets.
Seipe Hiyori lowered his head in astonishment, and found that his surroundings had been firmly blocked. A sudden scene. Immediately, the sarcasm on her face disappeared. No, it turned out to be a 6-stick light prison, which is one of the most common high-level Kido. Hiyori looked like he saw a ghost. The strength displayed by Ling Yun completely overturned her cognition. A first-day freshman actually mastered the 6-stick light prison perfectly? What is even more unbelievable is that since all actions are blocked, Hiyori can clearly sense that the 6-sticks light prison is different from what she has known before. Not only the strength and density, but also the binding ability and even the appearance are obviously different. What exactly is going on? Under the display of the power of the 6-stick light prison, Hiyori was obviously somewhat out of place.
She had to re-examine Ling Yun. Mr. Hiyori, you told me to let me come here, but the expression is not right now. Before Hiyori could react, Ling Yun's voice sounded from behind. Ling Yun, Captain Yoruichi taught you this trick, right?
Although the facts are already in front of his eyes, Hiyori still doesn't want to believe it. How could a kid whom she was about to beat violently master the high-level Kido? Illusion. It must be an illusion. Yes, so what? No, so what? The answer can't change the status quo, right? In order to successfully complete the random task, Ling Yun didn't delay at all. He took the opportunity to come to Hiyori and raised his finger slyly. What are you planning to do? In normal times, according to Hiyori's temper, he would have fought back long ago.
But this time she was stunned. To be reasonable, except for the Captain Hikafuna Kiryu, she has always kept a distance from outsiders. Where has this kind of scene been experienced before? It's nothing, it's just a competition as you asked.
While Ling Yun answered casually, his fingers were already close to Hiyori's forehead. Immediately afterwards, facing the eyes of all the students, he made an unprecedented and bold move. Boom! Accompanied by a crisp sound, a red mark appeared in the center of Hiyori's forehead. As the instructor of the special training class, in front of all the students, in a fair competition, Ling Yun gave her a shudder in the face. I was shocked by someone? WTF? Hiyori's expression was very complicated, full of surprise and anger. At the same time, the mood also fell to the bottom in an instant. Originally, I had the idea of teaching Ling Yun a good lesson. Unexpectedly, the person who lost face in the end was himself. At this moment, Hiyori wished he could dig a hole and bury himself in it. Just then, the system prompts that the pitch is on time. Ding! Congratulations host, complete the random task, blow yourself up, Tigress. Mission rewards, white hit skill, double bone fist. Hearing the mission prompt, Ling Yun was overjoyed and couldn't wait to open the properties panel. After receiving generous rewards, the attribute panel has a new look. Name: Shihouin Ling Yun. Identity: Young Master Shihouin. Ryatsu: 820 Shunpo, 885/726 white hits, 702. Hado: Low Hado, Max, Middle Hado, Max, Fiery Lightning Howl. Bakudo: Low Level Bakudo, Max, Middle Level Bakudo, Max, 6 Stick Light Prison. Special Skills: Shiba Family Secret Technique, Double Bone Boxing Technique. Talents: 5 Attribute Affinity, Ryatsu Amplification, Hado Amplification. Skill Points. At #% at hash. In the column of special skills, there was indeed a Double Bone Boxing Skill. And next, it's time to fill up your skills. Chapter 32. How did you become One Punch Man? On the first day of school, I got the White Hits boxing skill from the captain. Looking at the column of special skills, there is an extra skill of Double Bone Fist. A satisfied smile appeared on Ling Yun's face. For a long time, under the teaching of Urahara Kazuki, although Zhanshuan Zhaogui has made remarkable progress in all aspects. It's a pity that because the store manager is not good at white hits, he didn't teach this move. Now the emergence of Double Bone Boxing Skill has perfectly made up for the vacancy in this area, making Ling Yun's abilities more comprehensive. And the next thing to do is to point the 2 bones to the full level. Ling Yun. At the same time, Hiyori finally recovered. She touched her forehead and felt the pain there, and the veins on that pockmarked face suddenly throbbed. In front of many students, he was sanctioned by Ling Yun in turn. The feeling of rolling over is unbearable. No matter what, we must find the place. It's over, Hiyori-sensei is going crazy. Ling Yun will definitely be beaten into broken bones. Hey, what's going on? Ling Yun didn't move. Many students with the mentality of watching a play shifted their eyes to Ling Yun, but found that the latter stood there motionless.
Rare. Ling Yun gave up struggling. Also puzzled was Sarupe Hiyori. She was about to run away, but when she saw Ling Yun's appearance, she was also stunned. Is she distracted at this time? You don't pay attention to me at all.
Hateful. You bald man. I'll beat you up. Hiyori finally couldn't take it anymore. Without saying a word, she jumped into the air and kicked directly in front of everyone. The pair of flip-flops stepped on by the soles of their feet kicked directly towards Ling Yun's forehead. It's not hard to imagine what happened next. Ling Yun will definitely end up with a bruised nose and a swollen face. But Ling Yun remained motionless. That's because he is busy upgrading his skills. Ding! Congratulations host, the double bone level has been raised to LV2. Congratulations host, the double bone level has been raised to LV3. Congratulations host, the double bone level has been raised to LV4. Congratulations host, the double bone level has been raised to LV99. The system notification sound, like a text message bombardment, kept ringing in my ears.
Using the unlimited skills granted by the system, Ling Yun quickly upgraded the double bones to the full level. As happened before, the plus sign behind the double bone disappeared, and there was an extra max sign. Of course, additional talents are also awakened together. Ding! Congratulations to host, you have gained an extra talent, and you have a powerful blow. The system beep sounded again. Well, a heavy blow with strange force. It sounds pretty powerful. With a puzzled attitude, Ling Yun looked at the description of the talent. Open black lens bracket strike with strange force close black lens bracket. Talent effect. When performing double bone boxing skills, the power of white hits boxing will be automatically enhanced according to the size of the enemy's Reiatsu, and the maximum multiplier is 10 times.
F*K. According to the size of the opponent's Reiatsu, the power of white hits is automatically enhanced. Isn't this the case that the strong will be strong? Ling Yun couldn't help feeling emotional. With the talent of Strange Power Bash, his combat power in white hits instantly becomes impeccable. System, if the opponent is a Shinigami at the vice captain level, how much will the increase in the power of the heavy attack be? Ling Yun couldn't help asking curiously. Depending on the Reiatsu, about 5 to 8 times the increase. The system responded quickly. Even if it's a 5-fold bonus, I'm afraid even the vice captain won't be able to handle this fist. Ling Yun showed an overjoyed expression. The captain's strongest white hit skill, plus the bonus of Strange Blow. He seems to be transformed into One Punch Man. At the same time, Hiyori's slippers were less than 5 meters away from Ling Yun's forehead. Many of the onlookers covered their eyes, unable to bear to see the next scene. In mild cases, he fell to the ground and became unconscious, and in severe cases, he suffered from fractures and paralysis. From everyone's point of view, Ling Yun's end must be tragic. But at this time, things turned around. Ling Yun, who was in a daze on the spot, suddenly came back to his senses, and quickly punched forward. Boxing, double bones. Ling Yun punched with all his strength, and at the same time the passive talent took effect. According to Ling Yun's current white hit skills, even though he has reached the level of an ordinary soldier, it may still be difficult to push back Hiyori head-on. but with the bonus of strange force and heavy attack. The power of the punch he threw just now was instantly increased by 8 times. Combined with the original power of the 2 bones, it seemed that it could easily blow up everything. Isn't it? Am I hallucinating again? Hiyori sensed it carefully, and his pupils suddenly shrank to the size of a pin button. In Ling Yun's fist, she sensed a deadly wave, and the hairs all over her body stood on end. Intuition told Hiyori that if she was hit by this punch, her feet would be broken. Mr. Hiyori, my Ryatsu technique is not bad, right? This punch has poured all my spiritual energy into it. Ling Yun's mouth curved into a playful arc. At this moment, the expression on Hiyori's face was completely captured by him. Shocked, stunned, confused. Many complicated facial expressions showed that the other party was not calm. This punch from Ling Yun, it directly made Hiyori doubt life.
Damn, how much strength are you hiding? Hiyori gritted his teeth and growled. Forget it once, she can at most treat it as negligence. But one after another of accidents made her feel upset.
However, Hiyori's embarrassing temperament made Hiyori feel ashamed. So she didn't choose to dodge. Bang! The loud noise, enough to pierce eardrums, hovered over the training ground. Ling Yun's fist collided violently with Hiyori's flying kick in midair. What happened next? Once again, the onlookers were surprised. Ling Yun, who was a student, stood motionless on the spot, still maintaining the punching posture just now. On the opposite side, Hiyori, the situation is not optimistic. The iconic flip-flops wore a big hole, and the whole person spun several times in midair and finally fell to the ground in embarrassed posture. In Hiyori's body, I can no longer see the arrogance that the little Taimei should have. In fact, until now, Hiyori's head is still in a daze, and even she herself did not expect it.
He was actually hammered by a brat. Ms. Hiyori, tell me beforehand, I didn't mean it. Ling Yun put away his fists with a relaxed face, and quickly put aside his relationship and expressed his position.
I'm not so sure either. How can I become One Punch Man out of nowhere? Chapter 33. You successfully caught my attention. Too powerful. Student Ling Yun is too courageous. Seeing Hiyori's distressed appearance, the student's eyes widened desperately, and their jaws almost dislocated in surprise.
He actually beat Hiyori's tutor openly in class. This is too much. Ling Yun, are you hitting so hard? After finally getting up from the ground, Surugaki Hiyori took a look at the flip-flops, ignoring the dust on the Siba suit, with an angry and disbelieving expression.
His entire face was flushed with anger, and his head was constantly steaming. Looks like a volcano about to erupt, Ms. Hiyori. I didn't mean to make things happen like this. I hope you don't take it to heart. Ling Yun shrugged innocently after putting away his fists. Actually, he was right. He obviously did nothing wrong, but he was forced to fight back. As for the incarnation of One Punch Man, it really has nothing to do with Ling Yun. If you want to blame it, you can blame the passive talent for being too strong. Weird power strike. Just now the effect is full, and according to Hiyori's Ryatsu, it gives an 8-fold bonus. This led to the present result. The other competition was also requested by you. Ling Yun spread his hands helplessly. Besides, it's just a fall, isn't it a big deal? You still dare to talk back to me? Contrary to the expectations of Ling Yun and other students, Sarupe Hiyori's voice suddenly became weak, without the previous arrogant attitude at all. As if being caught by someone, the volume of speaking gradually lowered. So, do you want to increase the intensity? Facing Hiyori's astonished gaze, Ling Yun quickly approached her, then raised his arm, and flicked it on his forehead again. Bomb! The clear voice sounded again. On Hiyori's bewildered face, there was another red mark on his forehead. She was hit again by Ling Yun. Actually, don't say it, this hand strength is quite good. Ling Yun lowered his arms in satisfaction. This scene happened. Suddenly, the entire training ground became silent. All the students stared blankly, their eyeballs almost flew out, as if they had just enjoyed a play. Damn it! Is student Ling Yun a devil? Dare to play the tutor on the first day of school. It's so awesome, it's our idol, it would be great if one day I could play the teacher's violent chest. Countless adoring gazes looked at Ling Yun in unison.
It's fine to hang the hammer with both fists, but there will be another violent chestnut. Simply courageous. Just then, Surugaki Hiyori finally came to her senses. She glared at Ling Yun viciously. I thought she would run away completely, but never expected.
Wow. Without warning, Surugaki Hiyori suddenly let out a wow, squatting on the ground and crying like a wronged little girl. This scene once again detonated the audience. Even Ling Yun looked silly. Am I dreaming? In order to make sure that he was not mistaken, Ling Yun even pinched his arm. After obviously feeling the pain, the shocked expression on his face deepened.
Based on her understanding of Hiyori, it is almost impossible for such a thing to cry. This fierce and tough girl seems to have never shown her vulnerable side. And the scene in front of him completely overturned the three views. Ms. Hiyori was made to cry. It was also inconceivable that there were students watching around. I thought I met a big devil mentor, and I might even be scolded on the first day, but I didn't expect such a dramatic scene to happen now. Today's class. It's like putting on a big show. What should I do now? Ling Yun stood there in a daze. I am not afraid of my sister getting angry, but I am afraid of her crying. Who would have guessed that the position of forehead turned out to be Hiyori's weakness? Inexplicably became a scumbag, Ling Yun said he was really innocent. That, Teacher Hiyori, this competition should be over, right? Ling Yun still couldn't help asking. You. The crying gradually subsided. Surugaki Hiyori raised his head and stared straight at Ling Yun, with an obvious look of resentment in his eyes. Just now, I made a little effort. Can I apologize to you? I will never criticize the class in the future. Facing Hiyori's death stare, Ling Yun felt a chill, and jumped out from the spine.
Who wants your apology? Hiyori tilted his head stubbornly, and wiped away the tears angrily. Looking at the other party's performance, Ling Yun was also puzzled for a while. Neither is an apology, nor is fighting back. It's really hard to be a man. In addition to daily training, you need to do extra training. Surugaki Hiyori raised his chin proudly. Extra training? Which one is this? Ling Yun looked at the other party cautiously with guarded eyes, for fear that Hiyori would fall into the trap suddenly. Baldy, you're still a genius, don't you understand? After glaring at Ling Yun viciously, Surugaki Hiyori deliberately raised the volume. You managed to get my attention. Hiyori seemed to be a domineering president, and his words made the audience dead silent. No? Can this be seen? This is too ghostly. Ling Yun was already in a panic. If it were someone else, he would be willing to practice with his instructor. But facing Hiyori, Ling Yun really couldn't bear it. With a personality like Hiyori's, being targeted by a tigress is not something that can be easily escaped. Why, you don't seem very happy. Hiyori used his death gaze again. Actually, I think. Before Ling Yun finished speaking, he was interrupted again by the other party. I don't want you to think. I want me to think that after the class is over every day, you should stay and continue to practice. There was no room for negotiation in Hiyori's words. Hiyori will also learn. Ling Yun suspected that she had faked time travel. In Hiyori, the demeanor of the domineering president was vividly displayed. Okay, let's continue the class, and then continue with the explanation of the Ryatsu course. Hiyori didn't give a chance at all, and quickly changed the topic. Having said that, Hiyori's personality is far stronger than expected. Ling Yun looked at Hiyori's back and muttered to himself. After that period of time, he completely understood the character of the other party. Although on the surface, Hiyori is usually careless, lively and active, and even a little serious. But deep in her heart, there seems to be a little woman living, but she doesn't usually show it. Ling Yun really doesn't know whether it is good or bad to attract Hiyori's attention. Chapter 34 Upgrade all skills, the following few days. The course is proceeding in an orderly manner. Under the guidance of Hiyori, the students in the special training class have carried out a systematic and comprehensive practice in the four major aspects of cutting fists and walking ghosts. Of course, all practice is only at the introductory stage. After all, in Soul Society, let alone a few years, even decades, is not a long time for Shinigami. Therefore, the courses of Zhenyang Ling Academy are not the kind of fast-paced practice. Night. As night fell, the stars twinkled. Zhenyang Ling Yun Academy, number 12 training venue. Ling Yun. Compared to other students, you are already far ahead. Even the senior students cannot compare with you. Hiyori's voice was particularly loud in the middle of the night. Mr. Hiyori, let's skip the compliments and get straight to the point. Ling Yun, who was wearing a white student uniform, stood face to face with Hiyori. He seemed to be in a good state of mind. In the recent period of practice, Ling Yun has always been at ease, and his strength in all aspects has also improved. According to Ling Yun's own deduction, he now has the level of an ordinary chief executive. The magnitude of progress is jaw-dropping. Hey, it's only been less than half a month. It seems that you are getting more and more confident. As always, Hiyori said in a strong tone. Tonight's special training should be actual slashing, right? While Ling Yun was speaking, he quietly shifted his gaze to Hiyori's girdle. Zanpakutō Guo Orochi, Department of Physics Zanpakutō. After Shikai, the blade becomes a large sword with a row of neat notches at both ends. Compared with the store manager's Hongji, in terms of close combat, she can enjoy more pure fighting fun. That's right, you don't need the introductory training anymore, it's time to increase the intensity of the training. Under the gaze of Ling Yun, Hiyori took out the Zanpakutō from the belt. I'm ready. Expectation flashed across Ling Yun's eyes, he couldn't wait to start the special training. Baldy, don't be too confident, I won't show mercy later. Hiyori Sarupei's expression became serious, and a strong aura emanated, covering every corner of the training ground. Be careful, you will be beaten by me later. Soon after, in the middle of the training ground, scolding sounds continued to be heard. No, your speed is too slow, not even a snail. If I had the killing intent, you would have died 100 times already. What kind of playing are you doing? Didn't you eat? The movement of swinging the knife is too bad. Too weak. It seems that apart from Kido, your slashing skills are in a mess. Hiyori's voice kept ringing. As I said before, Hiyori showed no mercy. She swung Zanpakutō desperately, unleashing a torrential attack without any intention of releasing water. Shine. Another violent collision. Hiyori and Ling Yun separated from each other. Ling Yun held a sharp knife in his hand, and his face was covered with sweat. Obviously it was not easy just now. Hiyori is the complete opposite. She carried Zanpakutō over her shoulders in a menacing stance, and her demeanor was full of arrogance. Ling Yun. Are you aware of the gap between us? If I can't stand it, I can reduce the training intensity. Looking at the silent Ling Yun, Hiyori mistakenly thought that the other party was cowardly. However, this is indeed her wishful thinking. Mr. Hiyori, I have figured it out thoroughly, let's really start the special training next. It was beyond Hiyori's expectations. Ling Yun said some thought-provoking words. In the previous round of high-intensity competition, although he was suppressed from the beginning to the end, Ling Yun remained calm. That's right, Hiyori did not release water, but Ling Yun let the water go. The reason why he was suppressed throughout the whole process was not that his slashing skills were inferior to others, it was purely to find out Hiyori's strength. Captain, Vice Captain, Chairman. Ling Yun hoped that every opponent who had ever confronted could understand their strength. In this way, you can know what you know, and you can accumulate more combat experience, which will have many benefits for future growth. That's why the scene just now happened. Ling Yun, what do you mean? Hiyori frowned. He was obviously hanged and beaten the whole time, but now he uttered wild words. She didn't quite understand where Ling Yun's self-confidence came from. You were testing me just now. After all, Hiyori is a vice captain, so she realized it in an instant. Whether Ling Yun's words or facial expressions, they all reveal the confidence to control everything. Apparently, he was put in a position just now. Mr. Hiyori, you were right. Through the observation just now, I have gained insight into your fighting style. Ling Yun said bluntly. Shunpo. Ling Yun chose to reproduce. He imitated Hiyori's movements, waved the sharp weapon in his hand, and launched a fierce counterattack. What a powerful slash! When Ling Yun made a shot, Hiyori's pupils dilated instantly as the target. The same action, the same way. Even if his own Ryotsu is stronger, but in terms of slashing power, he is not as good as the opponent. What exactly is going on? Hiyori instantly felt that Ling Yun was like a mystery, hiding too many secrets. Either Kido or slash. Ling Yun will always have an eye-catching performance. Sensei Hiyori, you're being careless this time. When Ling Yun's voice rang in his ears, Hiyori put away his thoughts, but the blade had already enlarged rapidly in his eyes.
It's too late, shit. Hiyori swung Zanpakutō instinctively, trying to block Ling Yun's slash. However, after a crisp sound of metal collisions, her figure flew backwards, and finally managed to stabilize her body in embarrassment. The result of the second confrontation. It ended with Ling Yun gaining the upper hand. So you've been playing tricks on me. Holding Zanpakutō in his hand, Hiyori glared at Ling Yun viciously, and his temper immediately came up. Is it so easy to get to the top? No wonder I was cut in half by Ichimaru Jin. Seeing Hiyori's distraught look, Ling Yun also shrugged helplessly. Mr. Hiyori, I really don't have any malicious intentions. I hope you don't misunderstand me. Ling Yun put away the sharp weapon in his hand, and looked at the other party with a wry smile.
Compared to this matter, Ling Yun is more concerned about another thing, the upgrade of the slash. That's right. After these few days of special training and the improvement of various attributes, Ling Yun discovered a surprise. Except for Kido, occult, boxing. As long as the attribute reaches a certain value, the four aspects of slash, Ryotsu, white hits, and Shunpo can also be upgraded. It also means Ling Yun is about to usher in a full skill upgrade. Chapter 35 Future Strongest Zanpakutō? That's right. After these few days of special training and the improvement of various attributes, Ling Yun discovered a surprise. Except for Kido, occult, boxing. As long as the attribute reaches a certain value, the four aspects of slash, Ryotsu, white hits, and Shunpo can also be upgraded. This is Ling Yun's biggest discovery after entering school. Name: Shihouin Ling Yun. Identity: Young Master Shihouin. Ryotsu: 850, plus 1, Shunpo: 905, plus 1, slash: 756, plus 1. White hits: 752, plus 1, Hado. Low Hado, max, middle Hado, max, fiery lightning hell, max. Bakudo. Low level Bakudo, max, middle level Bakudo, max, 6 stick light prison, max. Special skills: Shiba family secret technique, max, double bone boxing technique, max. Talents: 5 attribute affinity, Ryotsu amplification, Hado amplification, strange power bash. Skill points. At #% at hash. Ling Yun opened the attribute panel and found that there was a +1 bracket behind each attribute. This of course means that all attributes have been broken through, but the extent of improvement seems to be limited. System: what about the promised unlimited skill points? Why can you only upgrade by 1 level? Ling Yun was puzzled. Within a certain standard line, there is only a certain number of upgrades. Only when you reach the captain level, standard line can you upgrade without limit. The system quickly gave a reply. Captain level standard line? Ling Yun raised his eyebrows in doubt. In his impression, the mark of an ordinary soldier is that each attribute reaches 500. As for the low-ranking officers, it was 1000. For the vice captain, 5000 is needed. So it seems. Each standard has a corresponding number of upgrades. So as long as the value exceeds 5000, can you use unlimited skill points? System, is my understanding correct? Ling Yun played a word game. The captain, the vice captain, and the same, captain level, Shinigami, it seems that there is nothing wrong with thinking about it this way. That's right, if the various values exceed 5000, you can upgrade without limit. The system gave Ling Yun a satisfactory answer. In that case, it's not too difficult, and it can be completed in 1 year. Ling Yun's mood immediately improved, and the corners of his mouth rose without any pressure. At present, his attributes will soon break through 1000. According to the system, the major attributes can be upgraded to level 10. To know. Just by upgrading to 1 level, the power of slashing has been significantly improved. If you go up to level 10 in one breath, the effect will definitely be more obvious. Hey, Ling Yun. Why are you in a daze? Just when Ling Yun fell into deep thought, Hiyori's voice woke him up. Well, Teacher Hiyori, I'm sorry for being distracted just now. When Ling Yun came back to his senses, he found that Hiyori had put away Zanpakutō. You kid, are you just so casual? You really don't give any face at all? Hiyori gritted her teeth angrily. According to her usual personality, she must have exploded at this time. However, considering what happened just now, Hiyori rarely remained calm, and instead asked with a serious face, Ling Yun, besides Kito's talent, I didn't expect you to be an all-round genius.
It was rare for Hiyori to let go of his arrogance, and once praised from the bottom of his heart. Reiatsu, Slash, Shunpo, White Hits, Kito. Ling Yun's strength and performance in these 5 aspects have made her feel brighter more than once. As the deputy captain of the 12th Division, Hiyori has been in Gotei 13 for many years, and he has dealt with countless Shinigami. Aside from the captains of Shinigami, there are not many people who can impress her on the rest of the squadron officers, and now Ling Yun is also in this ranks. To know, Ling Yun has only been in school for less than half a month. According to this kind of practice progress, it only takes 1 year to graduate, and this goal is almost stress-free. Mr. Hiyori, it was just you letting go of the water just now. If I really had to fight recklessly, I would have no chance of winning. Ling Yun just smiled slightly. In the face of Hiyori's praise, he was not inflated by it. Unlimited skill points, the benefits of cheating are far beyond the existing level. And Ling Yun's goal is to awaken a full attribute, Zanpakutō. In addition to the 5 major attributes, time and space, light, darkness, etc., these are all potential awakening talents.
This is what he cares most about. By the way, the sealed state will be issued in a few days. At that time, you can integrate into Reiatsu, and continue to communicate and connect through the accumulation and training of time.
Hiyori suddenly revealed an important news. As the sealed state finally available, Ling Yun instantly revealed a surprised expression. The weapon he is using now is a sharp weapon unique to the Shihouin family. Although it is a well-made sharp weapon, it cannot be infused with Reiatsu for polishing.
The sealed state is quite different. It itself is the embryonic form of Zanpakutō, and with the sharing of sleep and food with the holder, and the mutual fusion of Reiatsu, it will finally awaken into Zanpakutō in an instant. So a brand new sealed state means a lot to Ling Yun. This also means that a full attribute Zanpakutō is about to start the countdown. Ling Yun, you seem very excited. Hiyori asked curiously, I want to know, what kind of expectations do you have for Zanpakutō? How to say? Zanpakutō, divided into different categories according to their functions. Hiyori clasped his hands together, then pulled his throat, deliberately lowering his voice. Fire Zanpakutō, Water Zanpakutō, Ice Zanpakutō, Kito Zanpakutō, Physics Zanpakutō, Illusion Zanpakutō, etc. This Orochi of mine is the Zanpakutō of the physics department, so I use a direct attack fighting method. Zanpakutō, whose shape, state, and abilities are modeled after the Shinigami's own soul, has a direct connection to Reiatsu, so you understand? Hiyori looked at Ling Yun with a serious face. I understand, but in terms of categories, I really don't have much idea, let's just let it go. Ling Yun showed a Buddhist mentality. In fact, he already knew it. According to Hiyori, he became more determined. A full attribute Zanpakutō seemed to be beckoning to himself. Okay, there is one more thing. His personality is not serious, so Hiyori quickly changed the topic. In a few nights, I will have a dinner with some friends at Drunken Fairy's place. Do you want to go with me then? It was beyond Ling Yun's expectations. Hiyori, who has always been carefree, even took the initiative to invite him. No way? Am I really attracted by Hiyori? Ling Yun couldn't help but smashed his tongue. He even has to bring himself to the banquet. It seems that this matter is likely to be a stone hammer. Don't you want to? If you don't want to, forget it. Seeing that Ling Yun didn't answer immediately, Hiyori snorted arrogantly, and quickly turned his head to one side. This look of her, like a jealous little girl, chapter 36. Don't you want to? If you don't want to, forget it. Seeing that Ling Yun didn't answer immediately, Hiyori snorted arrogantly, and quickly turned his head to one side.
She looks exactly like a jealous little girl. No, I didn't mean that. It's rare that Mr. Hiyori took the initiative to invite me, so why would I not be willing to participate? Ling Yun was amused by Hiyori's performance. For a female man like her, she showed a shy expression for the first time. There is really a kind of contrast. That's about the same, then it's a deal, and I will notify you when the time comes. In order to conceal his emotions, Hiyori turned his nose up on purpose and resumed his original arrogance. In fact, this kind of behavior showed her guilty conscience even more. Ling Yun finds Hiyori more and more cute. By the way, Hiyori-sensei. Ling Yun also cut straight to the point, curiously inquiring about the dinner party. Those friends you mentioned should also be the captain of Gote 13, right? What, are you planning to curry favor with them? Hiyori took a deep look at Ling Yun, and immediately said in a flaunting tone, but you guessed it right, my friends are indeed captain-level Shinigami, and we will know who they are in due course.
Knew it. Ling Yun's eyes lit up instantly. After hearing Hiyori's answer, he immediately thought of those creatures with very different personalities, the Masked Legion. Hirako Shinji, Muguruma Kensai, Love Akawa, Atoribashi Rojiro, and more. These few familiar characters, at this point in time, are big names enjoying a great reputation in Jingling Court. It stands to reason that an ordinary freshman would have no chance to meet them. But with Hiyori's relationship, Ling Yun naturally had an intersection with the other party. This is also unexpected. So that's why they are all captain-level Shinigami. No wonder you two become friends. Sure enough, excellent people form groups with each other. Ling Yun flattered cleverly. Yo, the little mouth is covered with honey. Hiyori smiled once in a while, and even took the initiative to care. Okay, it's getting late now, let's go back and rest. Starting tomorrow, you will have your own sealed state. The next day, Junyang Ling Academy, Special Training Class classroom. Fellow students, Hiyori stood on the podium, and on the table in front of him were displayed a variety of different sealed states, totaling 50. She picked up one of the sealed states, scanned the entire classroom, and said, this is the sealed state lent to you by the academy. In the days to come, you can pour Ryotsu into it continuously. After a certain degree of accumulation, will transform into Zanpakutō. The sealed state is finally available. The moment I saw the sealed state, the atmosphere in the classroom quickly boiled. Including Ling Yun, all the students were excited and couldn't wait to get the sealed state. It is necessary to remind you. Zanpakutō is built on the basis of Shinigami's own soul. Shinigami gains power by knowing the name given to itself Zanpakutō and having a spiritual dialogue with it. Born with the Shinigami and dying with the Shinigami, this is Zanpakutō. Hiyori emphasized it again. Her words instantly detonated the audience. And then, according to the order of the list, each student got the sealed state.
The sealed state is finally here. Looking at the sealed state placed on the table, Ling Yun had a complicated expression on his face. The sealed state blade is slender, and the overall appearance is white and dazzling. I don't know what kind of power Zanpakutō will have after awakening. Ling Yun touched the blade, and began to yearn silently in his heart. Since Zanpakutō is built with its own soul, to some extent, Zanpakutō also represents the inner world of a Shinigami. As a time traveler, Ling Yun herself is also different. This means that in addition to the 5 known attributes, some other rare attributes may also be awakened. Time and space, dark, bright, regardless of the end result. Ling Yun's sealed state is destined to be extraordinary. Night time. Ling Yun came to Run Linon as scheduled. Sure enough, it's the same as last time. Run Linon is still as lively as ever. It really deserves to be the #1 neighborhood. Ling Yun kept looking around.
As he said, the streets of the night market are very popular, and lively shouts can be heard everywhere. In addition to the local residents, even the Shinigami who live in Jingling Te will come here in groups at night. But compared to the last time, his goal this time is very clear, that is the drunken immortal who has been there before. So it didn't take long for Ling Yun to come to the izakaya. Ling Yun, you're pretty punctual. Ling Yun arrived first, and Hiyori, who was waiting, greeted him. Sensei Hiyori, I'm not late, am I? Ling Yun glanced at the wall clock above the gate. The time is just right, and they just arrived. Don't be nervous when we meet later, and don't embarrass me, Hiyori said in the tone of a domineering president. It seems that Ling Yun has been identified as his person. Let's go. Then, led by Hiyori, the two walked into the izakaya one after the other. Hey, Vice Captain Hiyori, isn't this Mao's first genius, brother Ling Yun? Niu Baichuan, the owner of the izakaya, came forward to greet him enthusiastically. Get ready to serve. Hiyori nodded politely. Okay, I'll arrange someone to serve you food right now, this way please. The owner of the izakaya made a gesture of invitation, and then took Ling Yun and Hiyori up to the second floor. After reaching the second floor, Ling Yun's eyes lit up again. Compared with the first floor, the decoration here is more luxurious. What a great deal. Ling Yun walked in the aisle while observing the surrounding environment. The ground on the second floor is covered with smooth and thick marble. A sense of grandeur is about to come out. Have you learned a lot? The Drunken Fairy's box is not reserved for ordinary people. Hiyori raised the tip of his nose on purpose and said triumphantly. Quickly. They came to the door of the box. Balds, I'm coming. Hiyori pushed open the door carelessly. Ling Yun followed behind, and the moment he walked into the box, familiar faces came into view. Hiyori, what are you doing? You want us to wait so long, you will punish yourself with 10 cups later. A somewhat sloppy voice sounded first.
Go to hell, bald man, if you don't beat me for 3 days, I'll kill you, right? Without further ado, Hiyori got up and gave a flying kick. Bang! Flip-flops hit the forehead accurately. The original owner of the voice fell down in an instant, looking very embarrassed. Quote. Hiroko Shinji is too miserable, how did he survive 100 years? Ling Yun's eyelids twitched. That's right. The person who was brutally beaten was Hiroko Shinji. Besides him, the other members of the future Masked Legion are also located in every corner of the box. This is a gathering of bigwigs. Chapter 37 The Soul Society is about to change. Hiyori, there is an outsider here, can you show some face? After being accurately hit by the flip-flop, Hiroko Shinji suddenly had a big swelling on his forehead. The captain of the dignified 5th squad has no dignity at this moment. You bald man, what is an outsider? Ling Yun is not an outsider. Hiyori cursed endlessly, kicking her flip-flops vigorously, stomping back and forth on Hiroko Shinji's face. Well, Hiyori, listen to my explanation first. Hiroko Shinji was about to explain, but Hiyori Komodo didn't give him the chance. Explain your sister, you bald man, be more careful next time when you speak. Hiyori jumped up into the air and kicked Hiroko Shinji in an extremely exaggerated way. I'm too miserable. Hiroko Shinji let out a scream. There were obvious shoe prints on his face, and blood poured out desperately as if he didn't want money. After spinning a few times in midair, he fell to the ground in embarrassment. Ling Yun was dumbfounded watching this scene. Even though he was mentally prepared, he still couldn't help but shiver. Compared with the time when Hiyori was alone with him, Hiyori was completely different.
Hiyori, please restrain your temper and change the way of greeting, please? Hiroko Shinji wiped the bloodline from his face, and got up in disgrace. He didn't have the slightest bit of gentlemanly demeanor in the past. If the members of the 5th Division were present, they would definitely show a stunned expression. Is this still the captain we know? Change your sister, why should I change it? I have already said hello beforehand, telling you not to treat Ling Yun as an outsider, you bald man have the face to say that? Sarugaki Hiyori put his hands on his back, as if he would strike if he disagreed. Okay, I understand. I'm just joking, just pretend you've heard it. Hiroko Shinji smiled helplessly, the shoe prints on his face ached, and he was forced to confess again. Since Hiroko has admitted his mistake, let's spare him this time, little brother Ling Yun has been watching over there. Another rough voice sounded. Love Akawa with an exploding head, black deadly outfit and white Captain Howry, compared with Hiroko Shinji who was brutally beaten, has a bit of a captain's demeanor. With a casual and cheerful personality, he couldn't help but burst into tears when he saw the farce that happened just now. In fact, the same thing has happened countless times in the past few decades. Although Love Akawa has long been used to it, but every time he will act as a peacemaker, mediating the farce between Hiyori and Hiroko Shinji. Luo Wu is right. You have to bicker and fight at night. Please be quiet and don't disturb other people's drinking pleasure. Followed by another slightly muffled voice. A white-haired Muguruma Kensai, behind the white Captain Howry, engraved with a conspicuous 9. As the captain of Team 9th Division, he held a wineglass in his hand and looked even a little stern. But then again, Muguruma Kensai took a big sip of wine, and shifted his gaze to Ling Yun. This little brother, is what Hiyori mentioned, Mao's first genius. Captain Kensai, don't you envy his handsomeness? A figure suddenly jumped up behind him. Bye, what nonsense are you talking about? Muguruma Kensai stared back helplessly. I don't envy a brat. Captain, he is not an ordinary kid. Ling Yun is Captain Yoruichi's younger brother, and he is likely to be Shihouin's next boss. The lively and active Kuna Mashiro, scolded by countless captains, stared at Ling Yun intently. With such a handsome face, it's no wonder Hiyori has taken a fancy to him. Kuna Mashiro held his chin in both hands, as if admiring a work of art. He kept looking at Ling Yun's face. Hey, Shiro, please be careful, lest Hiyori go berserk later, Muguruma Kensai said dumbfounded when he saw his adjutant's actions. Just then, sitting in the corner, Yadomaru Lisa, who had been silent all this time, suddenly stood up and walked towards the door. Huh? What is Lisa-chan going to do? Is she planning to fight together? It's unlikely, with Lisa-chan's personality, she wouldn't do such a boring thing. Yakimaru Lisa's actions immediately aroused everyone's curiosity. Under the gaze of everyone, she directly spared Hiyori and Hiroko Shinji, and came to Ling Yun on her own initiative. Ling Yun, long time no see, do you still want to treat me to chicken this time? Yakimaru Lisa greeted her familiarly. What, please eat chicken? What the hell is going on? The whole box was fried in an instant. Everyone looked at each other in blank dismay, all confused about the situation. Lisa, this is the first time you've seen Ling Yun, right? Hiyori said with a frown, This kind of blunt opening is too cheap. Who said we met for the first time? Yakimaru Lisa blinked slyly at Ling Yun, and said with a light smile, before Mao recruited students in autumn, I also met little Ling Yun once at Drunken Fairy. By the way, let me tell you something. When we met, little Ling Yun took the initiative and invited me to eat a big chicken drumstick. As if to stimulate Hiyori, Yakimaru Lisa deliberately raised the volume by a few decibels. Anyone with a discerning eye can tell that she is deliberately acting strangely. How is it possible? There is such a thing. Hiyori's first reaction was to refuse to believe it.
Today's banquet is actually led by her, the purpose is to introduce Ling Yun to everyone. There are naturally some selfishness in it. But he never expected that he was not the first person who had contact with Ling Yun in private. Hiyori's mood naturally became depressed. Ling Yun, Lisa didn't lie, did she?
Hiyori turned his head and stared at Ling Yun fiercely with a questioning tone. Everyone can clearly feel that there is obvious jealousy in her words.
That, Vice Captain Lisa, I really didn't lie, we met before. Ling Yun was in a dilemma, hesitated for a long time, and finally nodded. Humph. Fortunately, I plan to introduce you to them one by one. Hiyori snorted arrogantly, like a little girl whose toy was robbed, she acted coquettishly in public. My god, no way, Kenshi, I'm not dreaming, am I? Illusion, it must be an illusion, we must have drunk too much. The Hiyori I know is absolutely impossible. ... After witnessing Hiyori's performance, the captain-level bosses present all had wonderful expressions on their faces.
The expression is frozen, the mouth is dumbfounded, and the eyes are dull.
Hiyori, who has always been shown as a little sister, would be jealous because of a trivial matter. Oh my god, the whole Soul Society is about to change. Chapter 38 Special Training for the Masked Legion. Is this still the Hiyori we know? Every Captain Shinigami present looked at each other with big eyes and small eyes. He has always had a tough temper, and he will fight if he disagrees with him. He is never negotiable, just like the big sister style of Hiyori. There will be times when you will be jealous. Oh my god. The whole Soul Society is going to change. Among them, the one with the most exaggerated expression was Hirako Shinji, who had just been brutally beaten.
He is obviously the strongest one, but he has been bullied by Hiyori for decades. Every time he meets him, his nose is bruised and his face is swollen, and he even has a shadow at one point. Now suddenly tell him. The little concubine who had been hanging and beating him for decades, was jealous because of a brat, and even showed the demeanor of a little girl?
WTF. I'm afraid it's a script and I dare not write it like this. Beating the worst and eating the most dog food. Why is there such a big difference between people? Hirako Shinji looked at Ling Yun enviously. At present, whether it is Hiyori or Yakimaru Lisa, they seem to have a good impression of Ling Yun.
This alone surprised him. Baldy, what were you yelling just now? Do you want to be beaten again? Sensing the strange eyes of his companions, Hiyori quickly shifted his hatred to Hirako Shinji. What? Obviously other people's volume is louder than mine. Hirako Shinji looked dazed, expressing his innocence. Huh? I said you have a loud voice, do you still have an opinion? Hiyori glared viciously. No. Why just target me alone? Hirako Shinji doesn't feel right. I don't care, I just don't like you. Hiyori jumped up suddenly, without any reason at all, and kicked him head on. Why am I always the one who's hurt? Hirako Shinji howled like a pig. The whole person spun several times in midair and then landed in an extremely embarrassed posture, leaving an obvious mark of slippers on his face. He almost got kicked out of the shit. Ahem, we didn't see anything. After witnessing Hirako Shinji's tragic situation, the others shut up wisely. Okay, that's enough of the farce. The reason why I brought Ling Yun here today is indeed to make everyone familiar. Hiyori forcibly changed the subject. Hiyori, is it more than that? Atoribashi Rojiro with long curly hair subconsciously glanced at Ling Yun. Based on what I know about you, you should plan to let some of us help Ling Yun, right? Captain Ross, I really can't hide anything from you. Hiyori nodded acquiescingly, and never concealed his selfishness. In addition to having a good impression of Ling Yun, it is largely due to the other party's talent. As a special training class instructor, Hiyori is indeed qualified to teach ordinary gifted students. But if it were Ling Yun, she would be somewhat unqualified. As early as 3 months ago, under the careful teaching of Urahara Kazuki, Ling Yun had already touched the threshold of high-level Kido. To put it bluntly, Hiyori is just a vice captain, and he doesn't have much to teach Ling Yun. That's why he pinned his hopes on the captains. I told you earlier, it turned out to be for this matter. Hirako Shinji casually licked his ears. Hiyori, for your sake, we reluctantly agree. Huh? What do you mean by reluctance? Sorry, I made a mistake, we're very happy. That's about the same, ever since. That's it, it was settled easily. Under Hiyori's leadership, all members of the future Masked Corps agreed to help Ling Yun with additional special training. Of course, with team affairs entangled, the special training time is not long. But it was enough for Ling Yun. After all, here are 4 Shinigami captains and 3 vice captains. This lineup acts as a sparring partner. Spread the word enough to stir up the entire Soul Society.
And next, as the special training came to an end, Ling Yun also joined the dinner. As a junior, it was only natural for him to toast each captain with a glass of wine. After a round of drinking, Ling Yun was a little tipsy, and he woke up drunk.
The little boy's drunken appearance immediately attracted everyone to watch. Hiyori, I seem to understand why you fell in love with him. Kuna Mashiro, who was alive and kicking, stared intently at Ling Yun's handsome face and said. Bye, don't make bad ideas, Ling Yun is just a child. What about the child? I can wait for him for 10 years. Bah, I think you're too drunk, if Captain Yoruichi hears it, the consequences. Because of Ling Yun, Lisa-chan, Kuna Mashiro, and Hiyori. Soon they became jealous. No one can resist the charm of handsome little boy. Time flies. 3 days passed quickly. According to Drunken Immortal's agreement, Ling Yun ushered in a special training, the guidance of the masked army. Except for Hashijin, the cute fat uncle. Under Hiyori's urging, all the others got together to give Ling Yun special training. Jinglingding, the location in the suburbs, a hidden forest. Hiyori, there are a lot of training grounds in the team building, why do you have to choose such a remote place? Hiriko Shinji complained. Idiot. Several captains gathered in the same team building. Even if the chief captain has no objections, room 46 will find fault. You don't want to squat in the endless purgatory, do you? Hiyori's contemptuous voice broke the tranquility of the night. Forget it, I'd rather be a little tired than talk to those bad old men. Okay, since everyone has arrived, let's get into the topic quickly. Has the enchantment been arranged? The triple-layer barrier is enough to last until dawn. Hiriko Shinji, Sarugaki Hiyori, Yadumaru Lisa, Muguruma Kensai, Love Ikawa, Kuna Mashiro, Atoribashi Rojiro. All members of the future Masked Legion gathered in this remote forest. And Ling Yun, who is the protagonist of the special training, has long been waiting in the boundary barrier. There are still 7 hours before dawn, and 1 hour is just right for us. Hiyori looked at the time and quickly drew up a special training plan. Who goes first? Let me come. Hiriko Shinji was the first to speak out. Mao's first genius, Shihouin's future leader, there will be no such good opportunities in the future, and he can be abused. Hiriko Shinji walked into the boundary barrier with a smirk on his face. Hiriko, don't underestimate him, he is stronger than you think. Hiyori rarely reminded him kindly. Well, Hiyori, stop fooling me, I'm just a brat, I'm Captain Shinigami. Hiriko Shinji didn't take it seriously at all. Damn bald. I hope you won't regret it later. Hiyori seemed to have foreseen what would happen next. Chapter 39 Space-Time Elements? Within the boundary barrier. Hiriko Shinji came to the center of the barrier with a carefree expression, not paying attention to Ling Yun at all. After all, the strength lies there. Even compared with other captains, Hiriko Shinji's strength is still considered superior, so naturally he will not take a kid seriously. Ling Yun, right? An hour is so long, why don't you relax first? Hiriko Shinji yawned casually. His sloppy actions immediately made the atmosphere a little funny. Hiriko Shinji is the most unreliable. Looking at Hiriko Shinji's lazy appearance, Ling Yun's fighting spirit, which was ready to go, disappeared instantly, as if someone had poured cold water on it. Well, why don't we play peekaboo? Hiriko Shinji had his ears pierced and looked very underwhelmed. What? A game of peekaboo? Ling Yun once suspected that he had heard wrongly. A game that only children can play, from the mouth of a Shinigami captain, it is a bit too cheap. You heard me right, it's a game of peekaboo. Hiriko Shinji twisted his neck, and even did gymnastics in person. The rules of the game are very simple, as long as you touch me, you will win the game. Hey, Hiriko, you are too contemptuous. Baldy, come out later, I will definitely beat you. For Captain Yoruichi's sake, let's let the water go. Before Ling Yun could respond, the rest of the audience expressed that they couldn't stand it any longer. Only Hiriko Shinji, who has a notoriously casual personality, could have enacted such a brazen game. But out of everyone's expectations, Ling Yun agreed almost without thinking. There is no other reason, because at just a moment ago, the system prompt sounded again. Ding! A warm reminder, a triggering task will appear, do you want to choose it immediately? As always, the system was as sudden as ever, it didn't follow the routine at all, and suddenly triggered a random task. Isn't it? This can trigger random tasks? Ling Yun was very surprised. The special training hasn't even started yet, but when he thought about the rewards of the previous random missions, Ling Yun opened the mission information bar without saying a word. Random mission. Captain Shinigami's approval, task content. Obtain the approval of Hiriko Shinji in front of everyone within the specified time limit, and the specified time limit is 1 hour. Task reward. Time and space attributes. The moment he saw the task reward, Ling Yun couldn't believe it. Space-time elements? Ling Yun almost screamed out. The reward this time is really unexpected. Fire attribute, water attribute, thunder attribute, earth attribute, wind attribute. Before that, the Ryotsu in Ling Yun's body fused these 5 different elements. Not only the strength of Ryotsu is doubled, but after obtaining the sealed state, it is also possible to awaken a multi-attribute Zanpakutō. But now, The rewards of random tasks are undoubtedly the icing on the cake. Compared to rare element attributes, space-time attributes are almost unique in the entire Soul Society. In the Soul Society's long history of more than 2,000 years, there has never been a Zanpakutō of time and space. Its rarity can be imagined. Sure enough, the rewards triggered by specific characters are also more generous. Faced with Hiriko Shinji's contempt earlier, Ling Yun also planned to respond strongly. But now, he looked at Hiriko Shinji again, and immediately felt that he was much more pleasing to the eye. Properties of time and space. This gift is so amazing. Captain Hiriko, let's play a game of peekaboo as you said. Ling Yun looked directly at Hiriko Shinji, and his eyes quickly became hot. In order to get rewards for random missions, even if you try your best, you must get the other party's approval. Hey, it seems that you are very confident, but I won't let it go easily. The corners of Hiriko Shinji's mouth rose, outlining a sly smile. Shunpo. In the next second, the hide-and-seek game started immediately. The figure of Hiriko Shinji disappeared in place, and disappeared within Ling Yun's sight. What a speed! Ling Yun's pupils shrank suddenly. Compared with Hiyori, Hiriko Shinji's strength is completely another level. Even at this moment, he is only holding the mentality of entertainment, but he still shows amazing strength. As predicted, just these few seconds when Ling Yun was distracted, Hiriko Shinji's voice sounded strangely from behind. Little brother, if you just stare blankly, you will never be able to catch me. Hiriko Shinji's wicked teasing. When Ling Yun turned around, the other party's voice came into view, with a playful smile on his face. Are you really going to play tricks on me? Ling Yun smiled and didn't say much. Although there is a big difference in strength between the two, but fortunately, the infinite skill points have already broken through Shunpo in advance, so Ling Yun also has full confidence. Forget it, in order to save you some energy, let's tie you where you are, so I can sleep in and kill time. Hiriko Shinji said nothing humanly again. He smashed the jar and threw it directly. Even at the risk of his life, he would be beaten up by Hiyori. Hiriko Shinji still chose to continue talking. In fact, this is not his fault. Hiriko Shinji's character is such a light sign, which is also his unique personality charm. Thundering chariot, gap in the spinning wheel. This thing has clusters of light and divides into 6. 61 of Bakudo, the 6-stick light prison. Hiriko Shinji fully casts Bakudo enchant. As Bakudo's target, in the space around Ling Yun, 6 paths Jishung light pieces suddenly appeared. All actions are completely blocked. Hiriko, you bald man, you actually use the way of chant to perform the aisle, are you too shameless? Immediately, Hiyori's curses came from outside the triple barrier. Not only Hiyori, but several other Shinigami captains also expressed that they couldn't stand it anymore. It's okay to bully the small with the big, but they still use this method. Hiriko Shinji really intends to be a rogue to the end. Huh? What? I can't hear what you're saying. Hiriko Shinji became deaf in a second. In an instant, the Film King got up on his body and made a gesture of spreading his hands, indicating that he could not hear at all. This shameless action. The partner outside the enchantment who sees wants to hammer people. Okay, for the next 50 minutes, just watch me sleep quietly. Hiriko Shinji stretched, turned and walked towards the boulder beside him. But the moment he turned around, Ling Yun's voice sounded from the other side. Captain Hiriko, are you in such a hurry to sleep? This game has just begun? The sudden sound immediately made Hiriko Shinji's body stiff. This voice? How is it possible? Hiriko Shinji recognizes the location by sound. Logically speaking, Ling Yun's voice should have sounded from the direction behind him. But why does it appear on the other side now? With puzzled thoughts, Hiriko Shinji quickly turned around and looked towards the source of the sound. However, within the range of sight, Ling Yun's figure that should have been blocked appeared in front of him. It also means, his 6-stick light prison doesn't work at all. Chapter 40 The power of time and space is here, am I not mistaken? Didn't you trap him just now? Hiriko Shinji's face was full of astonishment. Within his line of sight, Ling Yun's figure that should have been blocked appeared in front of him. This also means the fact that his 6-stick light prison doesn't work at all. How on earth did you do it? Hiriko Shinji restrained all the omens, and issued a very heavy question. The moment Ling Yun appeared, he immediately realized that he was the one being teased. Also surprised were the captain-level Shinigami who were watching outside the barrier. Even though they were bystanders, they were still perfectly deceived by Ling Yun. Even more unbelievable, the real Ling Yun has appeared, but the false Ryotsu still stays in the 6-stick light prison. This weird scene is creepy to watch. Hiyori, can you explain how brother Ling Yun did it? The rest of the masked legion cast doubtful glances at Hiyori. Ling Yun's performance really surprised them. I don't know too well, I can't see any flaws at all. Hiyori stared at the illusion, but couldn't find any clues. If Ling Yun hadn't taken the initiative to show up, everyone including her would have been perfectly deceived by the visual effects. And many more. You said before that he only enrolled for 1 month? Muguruma Kensai suddenly recalled the past, and his expression quickly became serious. Looking at Ling Yun again, he was no longer as casual as before, but with strong affirmation. Kensai, do you think it's necessary for me to lie about this matter? Hiyori rolled his eyes. I have only been enrolled for 1 month, but I have such means, what should I say? Muguruma Kensai always felt that things were not that simple. But he couldn't find any reason to explain it. After all, the characters in the Shinigami world are not aware of the existence of cheat, so they cannot understand the facts in front of them. In desperation, Muguruma Kensai could only shake his head and comfort himself with the reason of coincidence. Look over there. Just then, Kuna Mashiro pointed at the 6-stick light prison and screamed loudly in surprise. Ever since, everyone followed her finger and looked towards that position. No way? Afterimage? It turned out to be an afterimage? Is his speed fast enough to produce afterimages? That's too exaggerated. Except for Flash Goddess Yoruichi, it shouldn't be possible to do it. Every Captain Shinigami showed a shocked expression on his face. In everyone's line of sight, the Ling Yun, trapped in the 6-foot light prison, is slowly disappearing at a speed visible to the naked eye. This scene brought an extremely shocking visual effect. What the hell? A kid who just entered school can actually create afterimages. A Toribashi Rojiro, who has always been elegant, finally couldn't help cursing. The so-called afterimage is not impossible to appear, but the conditions are harsh. Only when the speed is as fast as Ultimate can it perfectly deceive the vision and create the so-called afterimage. It doesn't sound too difficult, but doing the same thing in front of a group of Captain Shinigami means dodging their Ryotsu perception. This is simply impossible, let alone Ling Yun is only a freshman. Interesting, we've all lost sight of it. Brother Ling Yun is really hiding something. Love Ikawa took the lead in calming down his emotions. He stared at Ling Yun intently, without any hesitation in his praise. Compared to the few of us, Hiriko's feelings must be stronger, right? Like a spectator, Yakimaru Lisa watched every move in the barrier. Based on what I know about him, Hiriko should be very upset right now. After all, he was teased face to face by a kid. Let's see how he responds. Muguruma Kensai nodded in agreement. Everyone quickly quieted down and refocused on the situation on the scene. At the same time, within the boundary barrier, because of the appearance of the afterimage of this hand, the atmosphere suddenly became weird. Ling Yun, how on earth did you do it just now? Hiriko Shinji asked calmly. From the beginning to the end, he also had a panoramic view of the process of the afterimage disappearing. After all, he is the person involved, and Hiriko Shinji's feelings are more profound than those of his companions outside the barrier. So he longs to reveal the truth. Actually, it's nothing, it's just a blindfold, you just treat it as a magic trick. Ling Yun responded lightly. Tisk tisk, little trick? I want to learn this kind of trick too. Hiriko Shinji's merciless irony. Create afterimages out of thin air, and reach the level of real ones. In Hiriko Shinji's view, the entire Soul Society is no more than 5 fingers capable of doing the same thing. Captain Hiriko, if you are willing to practice with me every day, I can consider teaching you, and I will also guarantee that there will be learning and meeting. Ling Yun made a joke at the right time. In fact, the reason why afterimages appear is entirely because of the upgrade of Shunpo. Just click the first level, every time Ling Yun casts Shunpo, it will have an afterimage effect. This is the truth that the Masked Legion is eager to know. Interesting, Flash Goddess younger brother, he is really different. Hiriko Shinji smiled slightly. Brother Ling Yun, from this moment on, you have truly gained my approval. It's done. Ling Yun also responded with a smile. In addition to responding politely, it is also because of the completion of the task. As predicted, a system prompt sounds. Ding, congratulations to host, completed the random task, Captain Shinigami's approval. Mission rewards, space-time attribute elements. Hearing the mission prompt, Ling Yun was overjoyed. At this moment, he clearly felt that the transformation of Ryotsu in his body had a strange power of time and space. After wind, fire, thunder, water and earth, Ling Yun has mastered another attribute, and it is the first time-space attribute. It also means, perhaps in the near future, the Soul Society will definitely be born, a space-time Zanpakutō. Captain Hiriko, thanks to you this time. While expressing her gratitude, Ling Yun picked up the sealed state on her girdle. Shine. The moment the sealed state left the scabbard, an imperceptible white light flashed across the surface of the pure white blade, causing slight vibrations in the space. Obvious. That is the result of integrating the attributes of time and space. Are you going to fight back? This time Hiriko Shinji didn't take it lightly. He also picked up Zanpakutō, and looked at Ling Yun with great interest. Although Shunpo was lucky enough to be deceived by you once, the same thing will never happen again. Boom, the majestic Ryotsu of the captain level, like a volcanic eruption, emanates continuously. Hiriko Shinji took the most serious attitude. If you don't try it, how will you know the result? Without too much nonsense, Ling Yun directly raised the sealed state and pushed it forward with force. The hand raised the knife and fell, and the slash came out. A surface is surrounded by thunder and flames, and exudes icy cold air, and there is a strong wind at the edge. The appearance is a slash of 6 colors. Flying through the air at an extremely fast speed. Aim straight for Hiriko Shinji. Chapter 41 Captain Shinigami's Wheel Battle. The special slash of 6 colors created by Ling Yun galloped towards Hirako Shinji. As soon as this slash appeared, exclaimed again. How much strength does he still hide? Looking at the road in front of him, the slash coming galloping. The smile on Hirako Shinji's face froze instantly. After a brief jolt, he no longer slacks off, and also bursts out Ryotsu and backhand Zanpakutō. Shine. Accompanied by a crisp crashing sound. The slash struck by Ling Yun struck heavily on Zanpakutō's back, immediately colliding with bright sparks. What is even more eye-catching is, as the slash explodes, the Ryotsu hidden inside turns into various things. Flames, strong winds, lightning, flying sand, waterlines, and white space-time fluctuations. 6 different attributes burst out suddenly, bringing a strong visual effect. The powerful power makes people ashamed? No, his Ryotsu actually has 6 different attributes? Hirako Shinji frowned and sensed carefully, and soon recognized Ling Yun's Ryotsu. Normally, since the soul is linked to Zanpakutō, the categories of Ryotsu and Zanpakutō have a specific attribute relationship. For example, Toshiro and Hiranmaru have a similar relationship. Before Hiranmaru awakened, Ryotsu in Toshiro's body already contained obvious coldness, and even almost froze his grandmother to death. The same goes for Captain Yamamoto. Even if not unleashed, the power of Ryujin Jaka. The captain's Ryotsu is still like a high-temperature flame, containing a terrifying burning ability. And now, due to the awakening of the multi-attribute affinity talent, Ling Yun's Ryotsu has the same effect. The point is that the attributes are perfectly compatible, which is why it brings such a shocking effect. Outside the boundary barrier, the faces of the captains were all shocked expressions. The slash created by Ling Yun brought a stronger shocking effect than the remnant image just now. Being able to occupy a high position and serve as the captain and vice captain, Hiyori and the others can be considered to be well informed compared to ordinary sergeant officers. However, he did not expect the special nature of Ling Yun's slash. This is a new cut of a ship that has never been seen before. Love Aikawa was the first to come back to his senses, and gave a thumbs up to the barrier. Hiyori, you really picked up a treasure. Brother Ling Yun's talent is really shocking. I think so. Hiyori originally organized a lot of words, but in the end, he could barely choke out this sentence. Originally holding the idea of special training, I planned to let my companions around me help Ling Yun improve his strength in all aspects. Unexpectedly, accidents happened one after another. This place has directly become Ling Yun's show. The special training has just begun, and Ling Yun's performance is so amazing. I really hope you will bring more surprises in the future. Yadomaru Lisa pushed, with gold-rimmed glasses on the bridge of her nose. If you observe carefully, you can find a different look in her eyes. That is the deepening of affection, as expected. The handsome little big brother is also convincing in terms of strength. He really deserves to be Mao's first genius. Kunamashiro said with a smile. Okay, please pay attention to your image, now is not the time to be an idiot. Muguruma Kensai rolled her eyes in contempt. Captain Kensai, you must be envious of Ling Yun, right? Kunamashiro blinked mischievously. It's all right, don't talk nonsense. Okay, I won't envy a brat. Muguruma Kensai turned around coldly, ignoring his adjutant. But the next second, his sight, without any trace, stayed on Ling Yun. There is also a different look in the eyes. Obviously Ling Yun's outstanding performance has attracted the attention of the muscular man. Time flies. An hour passed in the blink of an eye, and the first round of special training ended successfully. Hirako Shinji stepped out of the barrier. Hirako, you should have let the water go on purpose just now, right? Why'd I feel that you can't take advantage of it? Hiyori was the first to come up to him. Hee. If you think so, then so be it. Hirako Shinji smiled bitterly. In the eyes of outsiders, he seems to have let go, but the actual situation is that he really suffered a loss in the special training just now. Originally, I just had a mentality of playing with tickets, and planned to have a good time playing with Ling Yun within the specified time. Unexpectedly, the car almost overturned in the end. If it weren't for the gap in strength, he might really be defeated by Ling Yun. Hirako, this is not like the usual you. It's hard to imagine that a Shinigami captain has been affected by his mentality. Love Aikawa volunteered and walked into the boundary barrier second. Luo Wu, be careful, don't underestimate Ling Yun. Hirako Shinji earnestly left a piece of advice. He has even been able to meet Love Aikawa's expression later. The whole process is definitely not easier than yourself. Hateful. This brat is really a mess. An hour passed. Love Aikawa walked out of the barrier in a bit of a mess. The white Captain Howry was obviously damaged, and the Shiba outfit was covered with dust. Obviously, in the round of special training just now, his situation was not much better. Luo Wu, I have already said that, if you take it lightly, you will definitely suffer in front of that brat. Hirako Shinji sat on the canopy, gloating and smiling. Hirako, I finally understand how you feel. Brother Ling Yun is indeed not an ordinary kid. You must not use common sense to treat him. Love Aikawa cast an incomparably complicated gaze towards the boundary-breaking barrier. In the past hour, he had a special training session with Ling Yun. To Love Aikawa's surprise, Ling Yun showed unprecedented strength in all aspects of slashing the fist and walking the ghost. Because it was the first contact, Love Akawa was naturally caught off guard. That's why there's this scene now. Interesting, forget about Hiriko, even you were at a disadvantage, it seems that this kid really has something. Muguruma Kensai did a set of warm-up exercises, and then the third entered the barrier. Unlike the previous two companions, he did not take it lightly, but took a completely serious attitude. Kido, Shunpo, in the first 2 rounds of special training just now, Ling Yun has shown enough strength, only missing white hits. And what Muguruma Kensai is best at, happens to be close combat in white hits. That's why he's very interested, within the barrier. Muguruma Kensai clenched his fists, looked at Ling Yun with piercing eyes, and provocatively said, "Are you brave enough to put away your sealed state and compete with me in white hits?" White hits competition? Facing Muguruma Kensai's provocation, Ling Yun nodded calmly. He retracted the sealed state in his hand into the girdle, and then rolled up the sleeves on both sides. Captain Kensai, I'm thinking the same thing. Ling Yun's words revealed obvious confidence. Not long ago, after upgrading the skill, his white hits went up a level. He was worried that he couldn't find a suitable opponent to test the power of the upgraded white hits. The appearance of Muguruma Kensai just solved the whole trouble. Chapter 42 Ling Yun's instant opening, agreed so readily? Muguruma Kensai's eyes curved cautiously. He originally thought that Ling Yun would be hesitant, and would not even agree to his proposal, but he didn't expect to agree quickly. As a result, the pressure naturally came to Muguruma Kensai's side. After all, in terms of hard power, there is a clear gap between Ling Yun and him, even if he loses in the end, it is expected. If you lose, you don't lose money, if you win, you earn blood. In this white hits competition, Ling Yun can't lose. Teammate Guangxi, you don't know how to release water, do you? Ling Yun asked confidently, meeting the opponent's gaze. It is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to compete with an opponent of Muguruma Kensai's level in a pure white hits competition. Ling Yun still doesn't want the other party to release water. Do you think I'm such a kid? There was no movement of Muguruma Kensai either. His muscular body burst out with many clearly visible veins. Between exhalation and inhalation, Ryotsu radiated out, accompanied by a surging force. Boom! The terrifying Ryotsu at the level of the century-old captain immediately kicked up the dust and gravel on the ground, and the scene was huge for a while. Muguruma Kensai responds with action. Is it true that you plan to move as soon as you come up? Sensing the momentum emanating from Muguruma Kensai's body, Ling Yun's expression also became serious. After all, he is the current captain of Team 9, so he must remain absolutely focused. Otherwise, Muguruma Kensai's fist will not be easy to reason with. Ling Yun brat. Forget the tentative offensive, I will tell you with my actions, what is the real hell special training. Muguruma Kensai's momentum quickly climbed to the peak. Fist of Furious Wind. Muguruma Kensai punched Ling Yun head on at an extremely fast speed. Because the strength of the punch was too strong, it even caused a piercing sonic boom. His Zanpakutō the ground wind. This is a Zanpakutō of the wind system. When Shikai is Shikai, the blade will blow out a strong wind, and in the process of swinging, the trajectory of the wind will turn into a gossamer-like turquoise blade. Once touching these sharp blades, the opponent will be disintegrated by the gust of wind, and the lethality is impeccable. Because of Zanpakutō's ground wind, Muguruma Kensai uses white hits to fight, which will also have an additional effect of the wind attribute. Wind attribute white hits, I will also, reflected in Ling Yun's eyes, the figure of the other party gradually enlarge. He raised it unhurriedly, the Ryotsu in his body radiated out, and quickly wrapped around the surface of the fist. If you observe carefully, it's not difficult to see that the surface of Ling Yun's fist is covered with fine lines in the form of blue hairs, as if a barrier of wind attributes is attached. In addition, around Ling Yun's arm, there is also a strong wind and cyclone, whistling and circling continuously. Ryotsu and white hits are a perfect combination. What's with his fist? In the process of moving at high speed, Muguruma Kensai was keen and captured this detail. Through Ryotsu perception, he sensed the surface of Ling Yun's fist, which has the same wind attribute Ryotsu as himself. More importantly, compared with Muguruma Kensai's furious fist, Ling Yun's fist is more powerful. A perfect combination of Ryotsu and white hits. How did he come up with this way? Muguruma Kensai tried hard to adjust his mentality, but his emotions were still fluctuating violently. That's right, after the breakthrough skill, Ling Yun's white hits boxing skill has an additional special effect similar to instantaneous opening. The difference is, instant opening is a fighting technique that combines white hits and Kido. And Ling Yun's white hits is a perfect fusion of multi-attribute Ryotsu and double-bone boxing. Although the principle is different, the effect is similar. Looking at the entire Soul Society, only sister Shihouin Yoruichi can perform the same trick. Hence Ling Yun's boxing brings shocking visual effects again. Captain Kensai, you're distracted. At the moment when Muguruma Kensai was distracted, Ling Yun raised his fist with all his strength. Boxing, double bones. Ling Yun punched with all his strength, and at the same time the passive talent took effect. According to Ling Yun's current white hits skill, Even though it has reached the level of an ordinary seat officer, it may still be difficult to push back Muguruma Kensai head-on. But with the bonus of strange force and heavy attack, the power of the punch he just blasted was instantly increased by 10 times, and combined with the additional bonus after the upgrade of white hits, the power was instantly increased by several levels. Even if he is as strong as Muguruma Kensai, in the face of Ling Yun's double bone punch, he must do his best to deal with it. Such a strong boxing skill, no wonder you have the confidence to fight me. Muguruma Kensai sensed it carefully, and his pupils suddenly shrank to the size of a pin button. In Ling Yun's fist, he sensed a fatal wave, and suddenly felt a strong sense of crisis. Muguruma Kensai finally understood why Ling Yun took the initiative to put away the sealed state and chose to use the white hits method to face himself. It is no exaggeration to say that Ling Yun's white hits boxing skills are better than slashing. But, I am the captain of Team 9, and I will never back down easily. Muguruma Kensai increased his punches with fighting spirit. The stronger the opponent, the more excited. The strength displayed by Ling Yun completely ignited his passion. Boom! The loud noise that was enough to pierce the eardrums circled back and forth in the barrier. In the end, Ling Yun and Muguruma Kensai collided fiercely head-on with their fists, and ripples were even produced at the contact position. Click, click, click. Constantly impacted by the strong wind from Ryotsu, dense cracks appeared on the surface of the outer triple barrier. Oops! The boundary-breaking barrier is broken. Looking at the cobweb-like cracks within the line of sight, Hirako Shinji's expression was also a little dull. Until now, he had to admit that he underestimated Ling Yun's strength.
The emergence of double bone boxing skills let him have a new understanding of Ling Yun. It seems that the special training is over. After the triple barrier is broken, it is no longer suitable to continue fighting. Hiyori shook his head regretfully. Oh, what a pity, I still want to have an intimate interaction with brother Ling Yun. Kuna Mashiro also spread his hands helplessly. Come on, bye, who doesn't know what's on your mind? Yakinaru Lisa rolled her eyes. If it's your turn, I'm afraid that for an hour, you will only focus on chatting and talking. I want you to manage. Kuna Mashiro grimaced mischievously. Okay, everyone, please be quiet, I don't know what's going on inside. Love Aikawa waved his hand to signal silence, while looking into the broken barrier. Thanks to Ryotsu's explosion, the area was filled with thick fog, and the visibility was extremely low, making it impossible to see anything clearly. In the white hits competition just now, who is stronger and who is weaker? No one knows. Wait patiently, I can sense that their aura is becoming more and more obvious. Hirako Shinji was quiet for a rare moment, with a serious expression on his face. Obviously he is also very concerned about the result of this competition. After half a sound, all the dense fog dissipated completely. The figures of Ling Yun and Muguruma Kensai reappeared within sight. No way. The next scene to see immediately aroused the exclamation of the crowd. I saw Muguruma Kensai's deadly outfit. The parts near both arms were all damaged, revealing strong lumpy muscles, and there were a lot of bloodstains on it. Obviously in the boxing collision just now, Muguruma Kensai is injured. Chapter 43: A Different Holiday. Kenshi is actually injured. Looking at the densely packed fine wounds on Muguruma Kensai's arms, everyone in the Masked Legion immediately lost their composure. The captain of the dignified 9th Squad was injured in a special training. You know, the person who fought against Muguruma Kensai was not Captain Shinigami of the same level, but just a freshman. Even if there is a premise, it is Muguruma Kensai, and Zanpakutō is not used. But even so, the result is still unbelievable. I didn't expect such a result. Hirako Shinji's face was full of surprise. Kenshi's mood at the moment must be very complicated. Love Aikawa stroked the beard under his chin, and mused thoughtfully, Hirako, I'm more worried about his temper than this matter. Are you worried that Kenshi will get angry? That's right. It's very likely. Love Aikawa nodded curtly. Among the captains present, Muguruma Kensai is the most impulsive and easily angry. His character is competitive, and he will never suffer easily. But now that things have developed to this point, once Muguruma Kensai loses his mind, then Ling Yun's fate can be imagined. Tick-tock. The sound of blood dripping was especially piercing in the night. The atmosphere instantly became tense. Captain Kenshi. Don't be impulsive, this special training is over. In a flash, Kuna Mashiro came to Muguruma Kensai and grabbed his arm desperately. As the adjutant of Division 9, she knows her captain's temper better than anyone else. If Muguruma Kensai really gets angry, things will get even worse. However, it was beyond everyone's expectations. I thought I was going to run away, but Muguruma Kensai was unexpectedly calm. He wiped the bloodline from the wound, and with a nonchalant expression, he glanced at Kuna Mashiro. Shiro, what do you think of me? I'm a Shinigami captain anyway. Great, I knew Captain Kensai was considerate. Kuna Mashiro breathed a sigh of relief. Okay, don't flatter me in front of me. Since the boundary barrier has been damaged, let's stop this special training. Muguruma Kensai's voice fell. He came to Ling Yun. Little devil, I lost this time, your white hits boxing is indeed better. Muguruma Kensai patted Ling Yun on the shoulder and gave a positive encouragement. Captain Kensai is overrated. It's just that you didn't use Zanpakutō. If you really had to fight hard, I would have fallen down. Ling Yun's mentality was very calm. In fact, it was expected that it could hurt the other party. 10 times the talent bonus, plus the chief captain's boxing skills, and the upgrade of White Hit's skills. It is not surprising that it can have such power. Anyway, Mugaruma Kensai thought for a moment, then suddenly asked another question. Ling Yun, have you considered which team to join after graduation? What? Ling Yun, who heard his words, couldn't help laughing. Captain Kensai, I've only been in school for a month, so it's too early to think about this issue. It's getting late, it's better to think about it early. Mugaruma Kensai shook his head. With your talent and strength, you should be able to graduate smoothly in at most 1 year. Hey, Shenshi, you are too shameless, are you starting to rob people now? Hiroko Shinji's complaining voice came from behind. That's right, you are too anxious. I also think, after all, I just entered school not long ago. But having said that, brother Ling Yun, are you interested in joining Team 7? What is the 7th team? You should choose the 3rd team. Even if each of these clowns of the Masquerade Legion is a captain-level Shinigami, they still cannot escape the law of true fragrance. Inexplicably, Ling Yun became a favorite, and became the target of the captains. As for Ling Yun himself, unknowingly blended into the atmosphere, and soon became one with everyone. Although the special training was interrupted unexpectedly, what happened tonight has brought a lot to Ling Yun. Don't talk about anything else. At least he has won the goodwill of the bosses. The start has already won at the starting line. Time flies. 2 months passed in a blink of an eye. The Shenyang Academy also ushered in a holiday. Ling Yun did not stay in the dormitory, nor did he return to Shihouin's mansion, but came to the old place, the training base under the hill of Shuangji. Oh heh, Ling Yun, I haven't seen you for 3 months. I thought you forgot about me. Urahara Kazuki stepped on clogs, and the dead bully outfit looked a little messy. After 3 months, Urahara Kazuki's appearance is still as rough as before. As the 3rd member of the 2nd team and concurrently the sub-team leader of the Hidden Mobile Management Team, Urahara Kazuki is usually busy, and only occasionally returns to the training base when he wants to soak in the hot springs. Mr. Urahara, I heard from Sister Yoruichi that you have been concentrating on research for the past 3 months. Ling Yun asked curiously. You know that too. Urahara Kazuki first pretended to be mysterious, and then took out a black ball from his pocket. Mr. Urahara, what is this? Looking at the black ball, Ling Yun had a feeling of déjà vu. This is a recent research invention. I named it Portable Prosthetic Skeleton. It is a very practical black technology. Urahara Kazuki picked up the black ball and deliberately shook it twice in front of Ling Yun. Portable skeleton. Ling Yun's originally hazy memory became clear in an instant. The so-called portable prosthesis, which can be quickly inflated like a balloon, can be used as a stand-in during battle. In the original plot, when Urahara and Yami invaded the world, Urahara Kazuki used this trick to trick each other. Ling Yun, I'm curious, now let's see the effect. In front of Ling Yun, the store manager picked up the black ball, and then kept blowing air into it. After only a few seconds, the originally small black ball suddenly turned into another, Urahara Kazuki. The appearance is good, the expression is good, and the demeanor is good. If you don't look closely, the two are almost exactly the same, and you can't see any difference at all. Amazing, isn't it? If you're interested, I can make the same prosthetic skeleton for you. Urahara Kazuki threw it away, and the portable prosthetic skeleton stood vertically, looking like a pair of twins. Urahara Kazuki, compared to this small invention, I would rather study with you, even as your assistant. It was beyond Urahara Kazuki's expectations. Ling Yun actually made an unexpected request. Follow me to study together. Urahara Kazuki was taken aback for a moment, and then refused without thinking. Ling Yun, scientific research is not just a few words, it requires a calm mind and persistent patience. So, I don't think you should be able to bear this kind of boring day. Urahara Kazuki politely refused. Although he was very pleased with Ling Yun's strong will, he considered it rationally. Mr. Urahara, if you don't try it, how do you know I can't do it? Ling Yun did not give up. As early as a few months ago, when he first contacted the store manager, he had such an idea. Follow along with Urahara Kazuki until you witness the birth of Hogyoku. This is what Ling Yun desires most. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time. October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 44 Sui Feng is cute. Mr. Urahara, if you don't try it, how do you know I can't do it? Although she was rejected by Urahara Kazuki for the first time, Ling Yun did not give up easily. Studying with Urahara Kazuki until witnessing the birth of Hogyoku with his own eyes, this has always been his most longed for. Therefore, even if she is rejected hundreds of times, Ling Yun will continue to look for opportunities. After all, it is related to the origin of the God's thing. Are you really that interested? Urahara Kazuki originally planned to find an excuse to dismiss Ling Yun. But seeing the other party's perseverance, his emotions were slightly infected. Well, let me take you to a place first, and then you can think about it carefully. Where? Seeing a turning point in the matter, Ling Yun asked expectantly. A nest of maggots. Urahara Kazuki uttered a familiar name. Maggot's lair. Mr. Urahara, why does that name sound disgusting? Although he vaguely guessed the location, Ling Yun still couldn't help complaining. Ling Yun, strictly speaking, there is a prison. Urahara Kazuki explained with a smile. Prison has nothing to do with scientific research. Do not. Those held in the maggot lair are Shinigami who have made no mistakes but are too dangerous. In order to prevent them from doing harm at any time, a prison was specially set up. Urahara Kazuki explained patiently. As the sub-captain of the stealthy maneuvering team, his main duty is to guard the maggot lair. After so many years, Urahara Kazuki knows every member imprisoned in the maggot nest like the back of his hand. However, because it was too dangerous there, except for him, almost no one would take the initiative to step into the maggot's nest on weekdays. So you're going to take me to a cell? Puff. Ling Yun, I haven't seen you for a few months, but you've become more and more humorous. Hearing Ling Yun's words, Urahara laughed happily and waved her folding fan leisurely. Otherwise, why go to the maggot lair? Ling Yun didn't quite understand. The only thing he could think of was another person, Kuritsuchi Mayuri. Except for this mutant scientist, he couldn't think of anyone in the maggot nest who would be related to scientific research. You will know when the time comes. Urahara Kazuki's words came to an abrupt end. He didn't explain much, but walked towards the door. Mr. Urahara, don't pretend to be mysterious. Tisk tisk tisk, otherwise, how can you satisfy your appetite? Okay, take me to the maggot lair. Ever since. Under the leadership of Urahara Kazuki, the two left the training base and rushed to the mysterious maggot lair. The screen changed. Second team building, Captain Team Affairs room. As the message confirmed, Captain Yoruichi, the news is confirmed. Third Urahara, he brought outsiders and opened the door to the maggot's lair. A second division officer saluted respectfully. What outsider? Ling Yun is my own younger brother, what kind of outsider is he? Yoruichi's dissatisfied voice came from behind the wooden desk. I'm very sorry, I was rude and offended. The chief officer immediately blushed. Okay, I understand this matter, you can step back first. Yoruichi waved his hand, looking indifferent, and picked up the teacup in front of him with his backhand. Yes, Captain Yoruichi. The officer left the team room respectfully. Captain Yoruichi, is this matter really all right? The maggot lair is a dangerous place. A soft voice came from the sofa on the other side. The owner of this voice has short hair with full bangs, and looks petite and exquisite. He wears black long sleeves on his arms and has the badge of the second division on his arms. That's right, she is the second team's adjutant. Besides Byakuya Kuchiki, there is another famous high cold facial paralysis, Sui Feng. Sui Feng in this period was still Yoruichi's little follower. As the vice captain of the second team, she has an almost fanatical admiration for Yoruichi, even to a morbid level. In front of outsiders, Sui Feng is always as cold as ice. Only when facing Yoruichi, does she act like a docile cat, even talking softly. Sui Feng, are you worried about their safety? Yoruichi took a sip of hot tea, the corners of his mouth curled up slightly. Bringing outsiders into the maggot nest without your permission is already breaking the rules. Sui Feng just thinks it's not good. Sui Feng muttered with a red face. The people watching this scene were dumbfounded. Only Yoruichi's charm can make the aloof Sui Feng show the demeanor of such a little girl. Sui Feng, didn't I teach you? Special cases should be dealt with specially. Yoruichi leaned in front of Sui Feng, deliberately raised her chin. Master Yoruichi. Looking closely at Yoruichi, Sui Feng lost his composure immediately. She held back for a long time, unable to utter a word, and even faltered when she spoke. Sui Feng, you are so cute, you look like this every time. Yoruichi raised his eyebrows, and immediately returned to the wooden table. If you are worried, you can go to the maggot's nest. It is good. Sui Feng nodded slightly. Yoruichi's joke, she immediately took it seriously. Go. Yoruichi waved his hand. Master Yoruichi, if there is any news, I will inform you immediately. Sui Feng saluted respectfully, and left the team office in a hurry. Sui Feng is such a cutie. Looking at the back of Sui Feng fading away, Yoruichi shook his head dumbfounded. At the same time, the location of the gate of the maggot nest. Ling Yun, the door has been opened, follow me in for a walk. Urahara Kazuki leads the way. Mr. Urahara, isn't the so-called guard team simply a jailer? Ling Yun walked in the aisle, constantly observing the surrounding environment. As Urahara Kazuki said before, although this is only an outlying area, there is not a single grass growing as far as the eye can see. Let alone a human figure, not even a bird or beast could be seen, and there was a quiet atmosphere all around. No, to be precise, it's the guard. Urahara Kazuki stopped in his tracks, raised a finger, and deliberately emphasized, the duty of the threshold police team is mainly responsible for arresting and supervising the criminals in Jingling Court. Apart from this, the management team has another item, which is considered a special matter. Ling Yun immediately became interested. That is specifically for Gotei 13 members, by judging their thoughts and actions, whether they threaten other Shinigami, or hinder the execution of the mission, so as to monitor and eventually arrest. Urahara Kazuki said a lot in one breath. To put it bluntly, they are dangerous elements, so what is the purpose of facing them? Ling Yun asked curiously. You will understand later. Under the lead of Urahara Kazuki, soon came to the entrance position. The two walked down the steps one after the other and quickly sank into the dark corridor. After half a sound, the two came to an empty cave. Arrive. Ling Yun, be careful next time, all the prisoners here are dangerous. As Urahara Kazuki pushed open the door, the immediate scene came into view. The mysterious maggot nest has finally been revealed. Chapter 45 The Origin of Technology Development Bureau. 12 Women That Redefined Asian Beauty. Ling Yun. This is the legendary maggot lair. As Urahara Kazuki pushed open the door, the immediate scene came into view. The mysterious maggot nest has finally been revealed. There are so many criminals imprisoned. Ling Yun glanced into the cave. Within the line of sight, there are all figures in white prison uniforms, walking back and forth non-stop. These people, either with ferocious faces or listless spirits, are not good at all. The atmosphere inside the entire cave gives people a feeling of depression. Ling Yun, the people you saw are the dangerous elements I mentioned just now. Although they can't leave here, they haven't restricted their movement inside. They must be vigilant at all times in the future, maybe someone will suddenly attack them. Urahara Kazuki stepped across the threshold of the gate first as if nothing had happened. Mr. Urahara, I think most people are quite laid back. They don't look like the dangerous elements you mentioned at all. Ling Yun followed closely, observing all the way. Read books, drink tea, read newspapers. Most of the dangerous people detained here are leisurely and active, and no fights have occurred. Aside from the oppressive atmosphere, the living environment and living conditions here are not much different from those outside. Ling Yun, don't be fooled by appearances. Urahara Kazuki pointed to the east corner, and one of the burly figures said, look at that big man, he has a kind face and a bit simple and honest, right? Ling Yun nodded. Back then, he was secretly plotting several murders. If the police team hadn't discovered it in time and escorted him to the maggot's lair, a tragedy might have happened. Urahara Kazuki tells an unknown secret. And the scarred face over there. He used to be Jinglingting, one of the most famous blasting experts. He is best at making various spiritual devices. If he is left alone, maybe one day, the Jingling court will be blown up. And that guy. It's only been a short distance. Urahara Kazuki has already pointed out several people who can name the detailed charges. They are either plotting murders, or blasting experts, or skilled craftsmen. All in all, everyone is not a good stubble. Mr. Urahara, I probably understand why you brought me here. Hearing Urahara Kazuki's words, Ling Yun suddenly became enlightened. The so-called dangerous elements, if viewed from another angle, each of them has a special skill. To put it bluntly, ordinary Shinigami soldiers are really not qualified to be imprisoned. You want to tell me that the road of scientific research is full of unknowns and dangers, and it's easy for people to lose their way, right? Ling Yun asked thoughtfully. Yes, if there is no outsider to stop it, it is easy to go astray and end up repeating their mistakes. Urahara Kazuki showed a relieved smile. But, aren't you still here? I don't have these worries at all, right? Ling Yun responded wittily. You brat, you know how to infer other things from one instance, there is really nothing you can do about it. Urahara Kazuki shook his head helplessly. It is worth mentioning that Ling Yun and Urahara Kazuki were talking, and came to the center of the cave without knowing it, and attracted everyone's attention at the same time. Whoa, a beast-like roar suddenly sounded behind the two of them. Be careful. Urahara Kazuki turned around sharply, stepped forward to protect Ling Yun's body, and his Black Death Tyrant outfit fluttered in the wind. The next moment, a deafening sound sounded. Facing the attack of one of the dangerous elements, Urahara Kazuki calmly raised his arm, blocked the opponent's pounce with one hand, and quickly subdued him. The whole process was straightforward and only lasted a few seconds. The maggot lair is quiet again. Ling Yun, I forgot to remind you just now, it is forbidden to carry weapons in the maggot nest. So the absolute condition for being the captain of Canli is to be able to subdue everyone here with bare hands. In a few words, Urahara Kazuki revealed absolute confidence in his own strength. And his shot this time had a remarkable effect. The other people around seemed to be shocked by what happened just now, and they instinctively retreated to the side. Mr. Urahara, if I'm not wrong, you should have taken a fancy to these abilities, right? Ling Yun quickly guessed the store manager's mind. That's right, although the people here are all dangerous, but... Urahara Kazuki's voice became louder and his expression gradually became more excited. If you provide them with the right environment, so that everyone can perform to the best of their abilities, then wouldn't the danger be turned into a help? This is the plan I've conceived for years. Urahara Kazuki didn't hide anything, and directly revealed her inner thoughts to Ling Yun. Turn out to be, as this the origin of the Technology Development Bureau. This moment, Ling Yun had mixed feelings in his heart. Knowing is one thing, witnessing is another. Under the circumstances of accidents, he can be regarded as an indirect witness, the origin of the Technology Development Bureau. However, just then, ding, a warm reminder, a triggering task will appear, do you want to choose it immediately? Without warning, Ling Yun accidentally triggered a random task again. Can this also start a random mission? Ling Yun was overjoyed immediately. Double bone boxing skills, time and space elements, etc. Every time a random task appears, it means that the system will send benefits. I don't know what the reward will be this time. With a curious attitude, Ling Yun immediately opened the task information bar, and soon saw the task content. Random task. Clean up the maggot nest. Task content. Within the specified time limit, in front of Urahara Kazuki, sweep the entire maggot nest, and beat all the threats. The specified time limit is 3 hours. Task reward. All attributes plus 100. All attributes are improved, the reward this time is not bad, and the task difficulty is not high. Satisfied, Ling Yun closed the task information bar. Sweeping maggot nests seems to have a high difficulty system, but it is actually not difficult to do. Even without the sealed state, Ling Yun still has full confidence in completing the task just relying on his own ability. What's more, with so many dangerous people, they are rare partners for training. Of course he couldn't wait for this opportunity. Okay, Ling Yun, let's continue discussing the topic just now. Ignoring the fallen dangerous criminal, Urahara Kazuki returned to the topic. And many more. Ling Yun interrupted him. Mr. Urahara, I have a sudden request. What request? In the entire maggot nest, there should be no monitoring equipment, right? Ling Yun looked around and asked curiously. No, the detention is the detention, and the surveillance is the surveillance. They are completely different things. I don't want to meddle so much. Urahara Kazuki said with a hearty smile. That's it. Ling Yun raised the corners of his mouth confidently. Mr. Urahara, if I wish to have a special friendly interaction with these people, I don't think you would mind. Friendly interaction. Urahara Kazuki's expression froze for a moment. He never guessed that Ling Yun would make such a request. Chapter 46 The Imprisoned Kuretsuchi Mayuri. Friendly interaction. Urahara Kazuki's expression froze for a moment. He never guessed that Ling Yun would make such a request. Under normal circumstances, outsiders are not even willing to come to the maggot lair, let alone take the initiative to contact dangerous elements. On the contrary, Ling Yun offered to make a request. It is conceivable how surprised Urahara Kazuki is at the moment. Ling Yun, don't you intend to replace me as the captain of the management team? I didn't expect you to learn how to grab a job at such a young age. Urahara Kazuki teased viciously. Mr. Urahara, if there is a chance, then I don't mind. Ling Yun's eyes flashed a cunning. Oh when you can really suppress everyone here with your bare hands, then I will report to Captain Yoruichi as appropriate. Urahara Kazuki said leisurely. Immediately afterwards, he held up his hands and clapped his hands. Pat. The crisp sound spread from every corner. Urahara Kazuki's clapping action immediately attracted everyone's attention. Ali, everyone, listen up, I have good news for you. Although he didn't carry an amplifier at all times, Urahara Kazuki's voice, because of the enveloping reiatsu, came clearly to everyone's ears. Good news. After hearing Urahara Kazuki's words, every dangerous person stopped their movements and looked at the store manager with doubts. Everyone's eyes were very different, either with a trace of fear, or with a trace of expectation, and some with a trace of hatred. Listen well, if you miss it, you won't have a chance next time. Urahara Kazuki deliberately created an atmosphere, which instantly whetted everyone's appetite. What the hell is going on? One of the impatient people couldn't help asking curiously. Don't worry, be patient, and listen to me. Urahara Kazuki set his sights on Ling Yun. As long as whoever defeats this brat, he will have the chance to be acquitted. What? Acquitted? True or false? The entire maggot nest was fried in an instant. Everyone looked at each other as if they had been struck by lightning, for fear that they had heard it wrong. Once imprisoned in the maggot lair, unless you get old or die of an accident, you will be imprisoned here for the rest of your life. This is the consensus of everyone. Now tell them suddenly, there is a chance of acquittal at hand. The scene was on the verge of a riot. Mr. Urahara, don't you take such a cheater. Feeling all kinds of malicious eyes from all around, Ling Yun even got goosebumps. Actively make a request, and passively suffer siege. It's totally two different things. Brother Ling Yun, isn't this what you want? I'm just going with the flow. Urahara Kazuki gloated and made a, come on, gesture. That's right, you heard me right, as long as you defeat him, you can leave here. So, everyone, don't be merciful. Whether you can seize the opportunity and rewrite your own destiny depends on your respective performance. Urahara Kazuki turned into a life mentor on the spot and forced everyone to drink a bowl of chicken soup. Kill him, kill him, kill him. ... Every dangerous person stared at Ling Yun's figure with red eyes. Be sure to defeat him and leave the maggot nest. This sentence keeps circling in everyone's mind. Boy, go to hell. One of the big men was the first to be unable to hold back, roaring and rushing towards Ling Yun. With his start, the others followed closely, rushing towards Ling Yun one after another. The entire maggot nest suddenly became a mess. Ling Yun, I hope you can stand it, otherwise I won't be able to deal with Captain Yoruichi. Although he said words full of concern, Urahara Kazuki's expression obviously didn't take this matter too seriously. Even if Ling Yun was beaten to the ground, he never even frowned. Mr. Urahara. Ling Yun didn't even have time to say the next sentence, and was busy responding to attacks from all directions. He soon fell into a fight. Time flies. 3 hours passed in a blink of an eye. Who? These people are really tenacious. I really underestimated their desire to survive. Ling Yun stood in the middle of the maggot nest, looking exhausted, his forehead was covered with fine beads of sweat. On the ground around him, the prisoners were lying in disorder, each of them was suppressed, and they didn't even have the strength to stand up. The scene looked very spectacular. Nearly 3 hours of wrestling. Ling Yun worked hard, and finally wiped out the entire nest of maggots within the specified time. At the same time, the system prompt sounds. Ding. Congratulations to host, complete the random task and clear the nest of maggots. Task reward, all attributes plus 100. Hearing the mission prompt, Ling Yun was overjoyed. He could clearly feel that a brand new force had been integrated into his body, and his overall strength had been significantly improved. Of course, along with the change, there is also the property panel of the system. Name: Shihouin Ling Yun. Identity: Young Master Shihouin. Reiatsu: 1050 plus 1. Shunpo: 1085 plus 1. Slash: 1056 plus 1. White hits: 1052 plus 1. Hado: Low Hado max, Middle Hado max, Fiery Lightning Howl max. Bakudo: Low level Bakudo max, Middle level Bakudo max, 6 stick light prison max. Special skills: Shiba Family Secret Technique max, Double Bone Boxing Technique max. Talents: Affinity to 6 attributes, Reiatsu boost, Hado boost, Monster Power blow. Skill points: at #% at hash. After receiving rewards from random quests, the stats panel gets a new look. The most important is, the value of each attribute has exceeded 1000, reaching the standard of a chief executive. This also means that Ling Yun once again has the opportunity to upgrade his skills. Shunpo, slash, white hits, I don't know what changes will happen after they are upgraded to level 10. Ling Yun's mood became better, and he completely forgot about the tiredness just now. Just as he was about to upgrade his skills, he was interrupted by Urahara Kazuki's voice. Ling Yun, it's really beyond my expectation. I didn't expect you to actually wipe out the entire nest of maggots. Urahara Kazuki handed a cup of hot tea to Ling Yun. Thanks. Ling Yun took the teacup and took a quick sip. However, strictly speaking, there is one person missing. Urahara Kazuki paused, and then shifted his gaze to the end of the aisle. Mr. Urahara, isn't that a cell over there? Ling Yun asked back. That's right, there is only one cell in the entire maggot nest, and there is also a special prisoner in it. Urahara Kazuki's expression changed slightly. From his expression, it is not difficult to see that the store manager has rare recognition of the same kind for this mysterious person. A special prisoner. Ling Yun raised his eyebrows. That's right, in my opinion, all the people who fell just now combined can't compare to that guy. Urahara Kazuki gave a very high evaluation. His name is Kuritsuchi Mayuri. Closing parenthesis. Chapter 47. The hottest zodiac signs, you won't believe who tops the list. Reclama. That guy's name is Kuritsuchi Mayuri. Urahara Kazuki paused every word, and said a familiar name. Sure enough, he is a great scientist. Ling Yun pondered in a low voice. In fact, he already guessed the answer. Kuritsuchi Mayuri, the later captain of the 12th Division, was the only person who was admitted by Urahara Kazuki himself, and he was second only to himself in terms of IQ and scientific research. To be able to make the strongest brain in the Soul Society say such words. Kuritsuchi Mayuri's scientific research level can be imagined. But well, Ling Yun's impression of this weirdo is more stuck in the time period of the original story 100 years later. To be honest, he is quite curious about Kuritsuchi Mayuri from 100 years ago. Kuritsuchi Mayuri has been imprisoned for a long time, I guess you haven't heard of this name. Urahara Kazuki said as he led the way. It's true that I haven't heard of it. Ling Yun nodded symbolically. Ariel, it is necessary to remind you that his temper is a bit weird, so don't let him disturb you later. Urahara Kazuki led Ling Yun to a long stone staircase. What a long stone staircase. Go straight down the stone stairs, and at the bottom is Kuritsuchi Mayuri's cell. Mr. Urahara, is it necessary to be so cautious? If you're not careful, that Kuritsuchi Mayuri guy will definitely do something dangerous. Ling Yun and Urahara Kazuki walked down the stone stairs one after the other. After half a sound, along a dark passage, the two finally came to the cell. And at this moment, a ghostly hollow voice suddenly came from the cell. Urahara Kazuki, did something special happen that caused you to come here on your own initiative? Listening to this hoarse voice, and then looking at the dark surroundings, it is natural to feel creepy. More than 100 years ago, Kuretsuchi Mayuri looked like this. Ling Yun glanced into the cell. At the end of his line of sight, there was a figure wearing a white prisoner's uniform, whose ankles were shackled to the wall by a pair of iron chains, and whose figure looked a bit skinny. He has yellow eyes, short dark blue hair, and black and white eye patches around his eyes. The most dangerous person in the entire maggot nest. Kuretsuchi Mayuri, the man nicknamed Bientai Scientist, doesn't need too many words to introduce. His character is indifferent and cruel, with the typical psychological condition of a mad scientist. He is a man who pursues ultimate and breaks through himself. In terms of the degree of change, looking at the entire Gote 13, absolutely no one can match it. Mr. Mayuri, I haven't seen you for a long time. How did you think about the proposal last time? At first, he had a laid-back attitude, but after meeting Kuretsuchi Mayuri, Urahara Kazuki immediately became serious. He even rarely used an honorific title. It can be seen that in the mind of the store manager, the imprisoned Kuretsuchi Mayuri still occupies an important position. Urahara Kazuki, rather than this question, I want to know who this brat is. Kuretsuchi Mayuri sat on the stone platform, unobtrusively, and glanced at Ling Yun. Shihouin Ling Yun, Captain Yoruichi's younger brother. Urahara Kazuki gave a brief introduction. People from the Shihouin family. How interesting. Kuretsuchi Mayuri's voice was as hollow as a ghost. I was caught in the maggot's nest, but now I brought a kid here. Urahara Kazuki, do you think that question just now has any meaning? Anyone could clearly hear the sarcasm in Kuretsuchi Mayuri's words. He didn't give the store manager any face, and issued an order to evict customers mercilessly. It has nothing to do with me, does it? Hearing the conversation between the two scientists, Ling Yun expressed his innocence. Back then when the scientist who became too big was arrested, he had nothing to do with him. Oh Mr. Mayuri, it's been such a long time, haven't you let go of what happened back then? Urahara Kazuki responded unhurriedly. Urahara Kazuki, what is your purpose? Kuretsuchi Mayuri asked coldly. It's very simple, there are actually 2 points. Urahara Kazuki raised 2 fingers, with a slight smile on his face. The reason why I came here is because of Ling Yun's proposal. He intends to follow me in scientific research. Mr. Yuli, as the young master of Shihouin, he has the right to release you. Is this enough? Urahara Kazuki's words hit the nail on the head. Kuretsuchi Mayuri, who was originally indifferent, changed slightly after hearing these words. How is it? This proposal is not bad. Seeing the results, Urahara Kazuki continued, besides, I plan to invite you to work with me on scientific research. Urahara Kazuki, you think too much, I have no interest in this proposal. Before Urahara Kazuki could finish speaking, Kuretsuchi Mayuri interrupted him directly. Why? For the first time, the store manager showed a puzzled expression. For no other reason, I'm satisfied with my life here, and that's all I don't feel the need to go out. Kuretsuchi Mayuri closed her eyes. His attitude is already obvious. Want me to leave the maggot nest easily? No way. Before waiting for Urahara Kazuki to respond, Ling Yun, who had been silent all this time, took the lead. Mr. Mayuri, what if a special organization is set up to provide you with scientific research after being released from the maggot nest? What? Not only Kuretsuchi Mayuri, but even Urahara Kazuki showed a surprised expression for a moment. Among them, the store manager's expression was more complicated. He looked at Ling Yun eagerly. Ling Yun, the plan you proposed is exactly the same as my original guess. Urahara Kazuki, tell me. Kuretsuchi Mayuri changed his previous attitude and finally showed interest. Mr. Mayuri, not only you, but also other capable people, I hope to take them all out of the maggot's nest and set up a brand new organization. I named him Technology Development Bureau. Urahara Kazuki reveals his inner thoughts. Unwavering belief, yearning attitude, and persistent invitation. It all shows how eager Urahara Kazuki is to establish a technology development bureau. And the arrival of Ling Yun. It just happened to be a perfect opportunity, which gave him more bargaining chips. Urahara Kazuki, you mean, let me do scientific research with you and this brat? Kuretsuchi Mayuri narrowed his eyes slightly. Mr. Mayuri, you are right, this condition is quite good, right? Is there anything more gratifying than being able to leave the maggot lair and pursue your own pursuits? Urahara Kazuki was confident. That's right, Mr. Yuli, the Shihouin family will also provide the resources you need, and you can maximize your talents. Ling Yun joined the persuading team. He doesn't have any prejudice against scientists who become too big. Wouldn't it be a brand new experience to be able to work with such weirdos in the future? Well, your proposal is really exciting, but I still need to think about it. Kuretsuchi Mayuri did not respond directly. He quietly closed his eyes, as if silently weighing the pros and cons. And at this time, there was a shout from the top of the stone ladder. Enough is enough. No one has the right to release a prisoner without Mr. Yoruichi's permission. Chapter 48 Upgraded God Skills. In the face of Urahara Kazuki's invitation, Kuretsuchi Mayuri did not answer directly. He quietly closed his eyes, tapping his fingertips back and forth, as if silently weighing the pros and cons. And at this time, there was a shout from the top of the stone ladder. Urahara Kazuki, enough is enough. No one has the right to release a prisoner without Mr. Yoruichi's permission. This ice-cold voice instantly broke the original atmosphere. This voice, it's Sui Feng. She really is the most difficult person. Urahara Kazuki shook his head helplessly, the originally exuberant interest fell to the bottom in an instant. The conversation just now was also forced to stop. Sui Feng. I didn't expect to meet her in this place. Ling Yun also looked up curiously, looking at the entrance of the stone staircase. At that place, Sui Feng folded his hands and put on a paralyzed expression. Her gaze was like a death stare, which inadvertently brought a sense of oppression, and immediately dropped the atmosphere to freezing point. Urahara Kazuki, I was a little excited at first, but now I have no interest. Kuretsuchi Mayuri in the cell closed his eyes again and did not intend to continue talking. Disappointment can be clearly felt from his words. Vice Captain Sui Feng, are you going to take care of the conversation between men? This should not be within the scope of the adjutant's duties, right? Urahara Kazuki quickly returned to his previous light omen. Although he is only the third seat, and Sui Feng is the vice captain. However, the store manager's words were full of ridicule, and he obviously didn't pay too much attention to the position. Urahara Kazuki, stop playing word games with me. Sui Feng walked down the long stone ladder step by step, and soon came to the cell. Don't forget where this is. Bringing outsiders in without permission, you have already violated the law of stealth maneuver. Sui Feng scolded face to face unceremoniously. Outsider. Miss Sui Feng, are you sure I'm an outsider? Before Urahara Kazuki could respond, Ling Yun stepped forward to make a rescue. Are you Yoruichi-sama's younger brother? Sui Feng carefully looked at Ling Yun's face, the original anger gradually disappeared, and his attitude became much gentler. Not to mention that Ling Yun looks harmless to humans and animals. Just Yoruichi's relationship made Sui Feng let go of all his defenses. In Sui Feng's concept of cuteness, she must give enough respect to anyone and anything related to Yoruichi. If it's me, I should be eligible to enter the maggot's nest, right? I believe that my sister will not stop her after she finds out. While Sui Feng observed himself, Ling Yun also looked at each other. Compared with the plot period of the original novel, Sui Feng at this time is still a little young, and he is completely different from the high cold and domineering captain later. But, the moment Sui Feng spoke, he deliberately glanced at the prison cell, and frowned in dissatisfaction. I just heard that Urahara Kazuki intends to release the prisoner. Actually, it was a complete misunderstanding. I proposed to come here to have a look, and it has nothing to do with Mr. Urahara. Ling Yun blamed himself. Misunderstanding. Sui Feng pondered in doubt. If it were someone else, she would have scolded him loudly. But facing Ling Yun, Sui Feng couldn't get angry at all, and even spoke a little cautiously. Influenced by Yoruichi since childhood, Sui Feng's worship of Yoruichi has reached a pathological level. How about this? Miss Sui Feng, my sister has mentioned you many times in front of me. It is said that you have strong stealth assassination ability, right? Ling Yun made up a lie when there was a disagreement. He knew exactly where Sui Feng's weakness was. So simply move out of Yoruichi to resolve this conflict. Did Yoruichi-sama really say that? Sui Feng's eyes widened in surprise, with an expression of disbelief. Her appearance is like a child who has been praised by an adult, and her heart is full of joy. There is a special contrast. Cute. Do I have to lie to you? If you don't believe me, you can ask her yourself. Ling Yun said without changing expression. No. There's no need for that. Master Yoruichi is busy with the team, there's no need to bother her with this kind of thing. Sui Feng's heart beat faster, and she even stuttered a little because she was too nervous. This is too exaggerated. I never thought my rival in love would be a woman. Ling Yun muttered to himself full of surprise. He had to admit that he underestimated Sui Feng, the admiration for Yoruichi. Brother Ling Yun, what are your plans? Sui Feng instinctively kept vigilant after years of stealth maneuvering. Should it be our first meeting? Ling Yun showed a relaxed smile. Miss Sui Feng, I have an impolite request. Tell me. Under Sui Feng's stunned gaze, Ling Yun's eyes suddenly became as sharp as an eagle, and a fierce aura emanated quietly, as if returning to the state when he was sweeping away the maggot nests. Brother Ling Yun, are you planning to? Sui Feng vaguely guessed. That's right, Ms. Sui Feng, as the second team's adjutant and Sister Yoruichi's right arm, your ability is unquestionable. Ling Yun ignited a fierce fighting spirit. So, I hope to ask for advice. Facing the dim light, Ling Yun issued an invitation. Ling Yun, stop messing around and invite Sui Feng rashly. This is not a wise decision. Urahara Kazuki on the side expressed disapproval. He knows Sui Feng's temper better than anyone else. Even though I and Yoruichi have been close friends for many years, every time I meet Sui Feng, I will be scolded by the other party. Although Ling Yun has a special status, Urahara Kazuki doesn't think that Sui Feng will show mercy because of this. Sui Feng is like an iceberg, not approaching any outsiders. What's more, she has the top assassination ability, and once she makes a move, she is extremely threatening. He is a ruthless character that cannot be easily provoked. Mr. Urahara, don't worry, I know it. Faced with Urahara Kazuki's persuasion, Ling Yun just laughed it off. The reason why he took the initiative to invite him was because of Sui Feng's strength on the one hand, and on the other hand because the value of all attributes broke through 1,000. This means, Shunpo, White Hits, and Slash were able to break through to level 10 again. Once upgraded, the original effect will definitely be strengthened. So Ling Yun couldn't wait to test the power of the skills. And Sui Feng is undoubtedly the most suitable candidate. Well, that's not the case. Even if you make an invitation, I don't think Sui Feng will easily agree. Urahara Kazuki said in a determined tone. However, it was beyond Urahara Kazuki's expectations. Ling Yun, are you going to ask me for advice? After hearing Ling Yun's invitation, Sui Feng was silent for a moment, and quickly nodded in agreement. No way, you actually agreed. The store manager suddenly felt surprised. He even suspects that he met a fake Sui Feng. Miss Sui Feng, the space here is limited, the open space above is more suitable. Just do as you say. Sui Feng turned around abruptly, and walked up the stone stairs first. And Ling Yun and Urahara Kazuki soon followed her footsteps. Taking advantage of this gap, Ling Yun opened the attribute panel and quickly raised the skill to level 10. He also held strong expectations. What kind of surprises will the upgraded god skills bring? Chapter 49 Ling Yun's Shadow Clone. The upper level of the maggot nest. In the original wide cave, a whole circle of open space was deliberately marked out. Ling Yun, Sui Feng, standing face to face. After agreeing to Ling Yun's challenge, Sui Feng didn't slack off at all, with a meticulous expression on his face, as if the word, serious, was written on it. Miss Sui Feng, I hope you can put aside all your worries and do your best later. Ling Yun truly urged. He didn't want the other party to release water secretly because of his special status and concerns. In this way, the expected effect will not be achieved, and this discussion will lose its original meaning. You don't need to talk about this kind of thing, and I won't deliberately release water. Brother Ling Yun, I'm not afraid of hitting you. No matter how amazing your talent is, you still can't beat me in terms of speed. Sui Feng clasped his hands confidently. The reason why she is so confident is not blind expansion. In terms of speed alone, only Yoruichi can surpass even the stealth maneuver known as assassination. What's more, with Sui Feng's arrogant personality, he will never let go of any chance of winning. Miss Sui Feng, it seems that you have pride in your bones, aren't you afraid of losing to me later? Ling Yun's expression did not change much after he had already figured out Sui Feng's character. If you want the other party to be completely convinced, you can only prove yourself with hard power. That kind of thing can never happen. This sentence even stayed in place, and Sui Feng's figure had disappeared. Without any warning, without any movement, she disappeared out of thin air like a teleportation. A lot of speed, but not enough. Although surprised by Sui Feng's speed, Ling Yun was very calm this time. A while ago, the Masked Legion conducted special training, and he had already adapted to the speed of the captain-level Shinigami, and he was already able to handle it with ease. Beast bones scattered everywhere. Spire red crystal steel wheels. What moves is the wind, what is still is the sky. The sound of spears striking each other resounds through the empty city. Hado 63, Fiery Lightning Howl. As the Hado chant falls, Ling Yun's whole body was covered with bright thunderstorms, as if turning into a humanoid lightning. Anything that tries to get close to him will be hit by a thunderstorm. It's a very witty response. It seems that Ling Yun has grown a lot in the past 3 months. Urahara Kazuki, who was on the sidelines, gave a pertinent evaluation. Fiery Lightning Howl at max level. In terms of attack range, it is indeed impeccable. Bee Sting. The next moment, Sui Feng's deep voice sounded. Holding Zanpakutō Suzumaki in her hand, she suddenly appeared on Ling Yun's left side, stabbing towards the weak spot. When. The thunder arc touched the dagger, and there was a crisp sound. After a few seconds, Sui Feng's confident expression disappeared instantly. Therefore, in the process of swinging the stab, she felt obvious resistance, feeling like she was stuck in a quagmire. Even though Sui Feng increased his swing, and even injected a large wave of Reiatsu into Suzumaki. But instead of disappearing, this feeling became more and more intense. Miss Sui Feng, the combat habit of stealth maneuvering. In fact, Mr. Urahara told me long ago, I have already seen through your stealth. Ling Yun was shrouded in the thunderstorm, and a lightning arc flashed in his eyes. Possessing the thunder attribute affinity talent, he can maximize the power of Fiery Lightning Howl. Coupled with the talent bonus of power multiplier, without Shikai and Zanpakutō, Sui Feng would have no chance of succeeding at all. As expected of Master Yoruichi's younger brother, you are indeed a difficult opponent, but halfway through, Sui Feng disappeared again. Relying on the proficient Shunpo, she appeared on the other side of Ling Yun, and once again performed the trick again. Shine. Lightning arcs danced and sparks flew everywhere. This time, Sui Feng finally found a loophole and took advantage of the opportunity to break through the outer layer of thunderstorms. The Zanpakutō Suzumaki in his hand was about to succeed. Brother Ling Yun, with stealthy maneuvers, the reason why he can occupy an important position in Jingling Court is due to his unique assassination skills. This time, it's time to accumulate experience. You still have a long way to go. Sui Feng preached to his students in a stern tone, like a teacher. But, the next moment, the expression on her face froze instantly. How is this possible? Sui Feng's suddenly dilated pupils reflected the scene in front of him. Ling Yun, who was originally the target of the attack, disappeared strangely without warning, leaving only the shining thunderstorm. Everything seemed to evaporate suddenly. Impossible. I've clearly locked onto his aura, how could it still disappear under my nose? Sui Feng's thrusting movement came to an abrupt end. She muttered in disbelief, subconsciously looked around, but she never found Ling Yun. I thought I had the chance to win, but there was a sudden reversal. What's more, Sui Feng tried his best to recall every detail, but couldn't find any reason to explain it. How did Ling Yun do it? What about fiery lightning howl? Sui Feng's mind was instantly filled with doubts and puzzles. Miss Sui Feng, you should be very puzzled, right? I witnessed everything with my own eyes, and even made contact with Hado, but in the end I still disappeared. Ling Yun's voice sounded abruptly. Quote. Sui Feng was speechless in silence. She clearly felt that Ling Yun was pressing the thunder knife against her back. As soon as Sui Feng made any move, the thunder hand knife would pierce through the heart. She completely lost the chance to resist. You win. Sui Feng gritted his teeth, and finally said a word reluctantly. Although she is unwilling to admit the fact of defeat, she is not someone who cannot afford to lose. She lost this round of competition convincingly. Miss Sui Feng has accepted, your speed is also amazing. While Ling Yun put away the knife in his hand, he did not forget to have a wave of business exchanges. If you lose, you lose. There is nothing to deny. You don't need to comfort me. Sui Feng put away the Zanpakutō with a proud expression on his face. But then again, how did you do it just now? Could it be that you left the place before I swung the stab? Sui Feng stared into Ling Yun's eyes, eager to get the answer he wanted. Yes, indeed, as you speculated, my action was one step ahead of you. Ling Yun readily admitted. Impossible. Even if your speed is fast enough to produce afterimages, it's impossible to take on Hado, right? Sui Feng's first reaction was disbelief. Nothing is impossible, that's exactly what it is. Ling Yun didn't explain much, and in fact he didn't lie. After the Shunpo skill is upgraded to level 10, in addition to the original afterimage effect, it also inherits the Reiatsu of the main body. Simply put, any afterimage is equivalent to a shadow clone. It is precisely because each shadow clone inherits the Reiatsu of the main body, so it looks seamless. This is the special effect after the skill is upgraded. Chapter 50 Large Wilderness Survival Program. After the Shunpo skill is upgraded to level 10, in addition to the original afterimage effect, it also inherits the Reiatsu of the main body. If you have to describe it, it is shadow clone. Miss Sui Feng. If you still don't believe me, I can demonstrate it on the spot. Taking a full view of Sui Feng's expression, Ling Yun felt a sense of relief. It is good. Sui Feng gritted his teeth. As the saying goes, seeing is believing, relying on verbal description alone is not convincing. So she didn't want to believe it at all. Stop blinking. There was no movement from Ling Yun either. In addition to the original sitting position, another place a few meters away suddenly appeared another, Ling Yun. No, this doesn't look like a blindfold. Sui Feng and Urahara Kazuki stared at the scene in front of them blankly. WTF. Is this really not an illusion? As a result, their jaws were in danger of being dislocated on the spot. Shock is not enough to describe their mood. It's just an afterimage. After all, the same thing happened a long time ago, and it still happened to Yoruichi, so the two have long been familiar with each other. But, afterimage and body, both have Reiatsu, and can't see any difference, and can't find any flaws at the same time. This is outrageous. I'm afraid Yoruichi would be scared if he was there, right? Even though he has always been well informed and knows many secrets that are unknown, Urahara Kazuki was still shocked. After all, in the Shinigami world, there is no such thing as shadow clone, and there is no cheat that can upgrade skills. So the store manager racked his brains and couldn't think of a reason. He could only keep searching, using all kinds of excuses to comfort himself, and lamented that Ling Yun is an extraordinary talent. Urahara Kazuki once again admires the 5-body projection. Brother Ling Yun, this shouldn't be the secret art of the Shihouin family, right? Sui Feng took a long time to recover, his face still full of shock. Recalling the cruel words that were left before this discussion, Sui Feng suddenly felt shameless, wishing to leave the maggot nest immediately. That's right. Ling Yun nodded noncommittally. As expected, you can't use common sense to look at every genius, you really deserve to be Master Yoruichi's younger brother. Apart from a helpless sigh, Sui Feng couldn't say anything more. In terms of speed, which he was proud of, he was completely defeated by an overwhelming gap. Sui Feng's self-confidence suffered a huge setback. Miss Sui Feng, you should not continue to pursue what happened just now, right? Ling Yun took a special look at the direction of the cell. Although I lost the duel just now, I am not unreasonable. Sui Feng snorted arrogantly, then turned around coldly, and walked towards the door. This woman is really unpredictable. Ling Yun stared blankly at the spot and laughed. He was still depressed 1 second, and immediately returned to aloofness the next second. Sui Feng's seamless switch between the two emotions directly made Ling Yun completely dumbfounded. Oh ha. Don't worry, she has such a character, stubborn and a little bit arrogant. In fact, such a person is cold on the outside and hot on the inside. Urahara Kazuki directly told the truth. Whenever there is a cute contrast, Sui Feng does have a unique charm. Mr. Maori. With Sui Feng's figure disappearing at the end of sight, Ling Yun brought up the topic again. I reckon that even if he invites you again, Mayuri will definitely refuse, so let's wait for the next suitable opportunity. Urahara Kazuki showed a bitter smile. It was almost there just now. Seeing that Kuretsuchi Mayuri was about to agree, Sui Feng appeared at this time. The time is not yet ripe. Urahara Kazuki can only comfort himself in this way. The two eventually left the maggot nest. The matter of the Technology Development Bureau has also come to an end for the time being. Half a month later, Junyang Ling Academy, Special Training Classroom. No, something happened. Our freshmen are about to usher in the annual field training. The peaceful atmosphere early in the morning was broken by a piece of breaking news. One of the students, holding a notice in his hand, raised his voice to reveal the news to everyone. Field training. The other students immediately surrounded him. Most people, Ling Yun included, were curious and eager to learn more. The so-called field training refers to all classes of the same age, under the leadership of their respective instructors, go to the block with the last number in Rukongai for a 1-month field training. That student presented the notice in his hand in front of everyone. The atmosphere of the entire classroom was instantly detonated. Interesting, it seems that the senior management of Junyang Ling Yun Academy, who can't be idle at ordinary times, would plan such an action. Ling Yun pondered thoughtfully. Compared with the plot of the original book, at this time point, since the Technology Development Bureau has not been established, the supervision system of the entire Soul Society has not yet been perfected. Those blocks with lower numbers have not been effectively monitored. Coupled with the harsh environment and the extreme scarcity of resources, homicides and even riots often occur. Even more frightening, due to the proximity to the barriers of the Soul Society and the large backlog of grievances, these blocks with lower numbers often have false traces. At worst, there will even be a Manos Grande coming. In order to train the students' abilities, the college will hold a special field training in a specific season every year, and the location is the areas mentioned just now. During the 1-month period, in addition to mutual learning and training, they also faced virtual surprise attacks. So field training is of great significance, it is almost an alternative assessment test. Just then, there was a sound of footsteps outside the classroom. Hiyori, who was wearing a deadly costume, walked into the classroom swaggeringly, also holding a notice in his hand. As for the content on the notice, it was just mentioned, the news about this field training. Yo, it seems that you have received the wind in advance. Hiyori supported the podium with both hands, and looked down with a little smile. Mr. Hiyori, when will the field training start? A student asked curiously. 3 days. 3 days later, everyone gathered at the gate of the academy, and then set off to the training location together. Hiyori replied casually. What about the specific location? Block 80 in West Rukongai. When mentioning this place, Hiyori's expression changed, and he immediately became serious. Little devils, let me tell you in advance that the environment there is extremely harsh. There was an invasion of Manos Grande that year, so there have been few people for many years. Although Gote 13 was followed up, spiritual baits and barriers were planted there. But no one can guarantee that the same accident will happen again. So what to do at that time, you should know what to do. Hiyori kept his voice to a minimum, deliberately exaggerating the atmosphere and intimidating the students. This large-scale outdoor survival program immediately made the students fearful.